Yeah,
Yo, 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 yo.
that's
What up, Betty?
hilarious.
Hmm? What y'all
That
talking
is
about? What y'all laughing
hilarious.
Why
at?
would you make that the title?
What title?
That is hilarious.
Oh,
It just popped up like starting now. Protect our divine needs.
my bad.
Oh my.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my.
We about to have a time.
Um,
A good time was had by all.
well, I mean,
Now listen, um,
I feel like Heard Through the Grapevine is just so bright, and you
Right.
guys are just in the darkness.
I mean,
It works.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's because y'all got
listen,
75 million lights.
y'all have
Chrissy got
the
the
power
white background with the light bouncing off the ceiling down to the. That's what it
I thought you was
is.
about
got
to talk about my
mirrors
And I
sound.
where the
know
light is reflected off.
I already know what Gina working with over there.
Yeah.
I don't
You
I
got
don't
a
have I don't have my stuff turned all the way up to the
Chrissy.
vents.
Chrissy got a whole quasar in her room.
Right. Like it don't even look like we're in the same room.
It really don't. We are
Because
right up
the
to
light
each other.
that she's using is pointing that way. It's pointing away from it and up at the ceiling. So it's bouncing down off of the ceiling and just basking
And
her.
it's
Shares. Get these shares
all right,
out
let me share.
Get these
before we
shares out.
start because we going
Get
right
these
in.
shares out, fool.
I'm about to let me see. Preferably the YouTube link over the Facebook, just because I don't be going over to the Facebook. I be forgetting. And then I go back like an hour later, and it's like 5 comments. Like, oh shit, my
See,
bad.
that's the problem, and that's why I love StreamYard.
Fuck StreamYard.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I certainly understand why people still like StreamYard, but they
Absolutely.
some bullshit.
That part.
Yeah.
That's it.
Some
They really
bullshit.
did not
So,
have to
like,
raise the price like they did.
I'm
nah,
so
dude.
upset.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's terrible.
But that's where we at now, though.
Yeah.
That's where we at. All of these services get you locked in on this dope ass price,
Mm-hmm.
and then they start jacking that shit up. And then
Mhm.
you got some motherfuckers who have literally no reason to use the tariffs as an excuse, using the tariffs as an excuse.
Right.
I
Don't
say
even
them.
apply.
I say them. It don't apply.
Like, what are you talking about? Nothing that is required of you is being shipped, imported.
Now,
Like,
bro, we don't. So our first issue, comic book issue, we got that shit made in China.
Mhm.
Since then, though, we use domestic, right? So just imagine us when the next book come out, jacking the price up, the
Right.
comic book up, saying, "Oh, Trump with those tariffs." Come on, B. Come on, stop
Right.
it. Stop it. I don't get posters from China anymore. By the way, all of that was a fucking shit show.
Mm.
They both got lost.
Mm.
The first shipment of posters got lost. The first shipment of books got lost. Then we had to reorder them, but they paid. They paid to reimburse us, and then the other one showed up. It was a whole thing.
So you ended up with double.
We had double trouble and shit. I still have posters in here from that first run 2 years ago. That's why we going all digital, baby. I'm telling you.
I mean,
going all
Why
digital.
we ain't got no poster?
James got a poster.
I got several.
You got several.
They right here.
Oh, you ain't put them up?
No, I ain't put them up.
Okay.
I'll do it for you, Kristen. Well, I don't got no poster.
Oh, damn.
I'll do it for you too, because you ain't buy one. All right.
Show me the link.
All right. I'm gonna send.
Wait till I get some money, because
Well,
I don't know.
wait. Don't bury. Don't bury the lead.
Don't bury the lead. Do not bury the lead.
Wait. All right.
Do not bury the lead.
No, matter of fact.
No.
Intro. We going right in.
We going right in.
We going right
the
in. All right.
intro's
So
gonna be a little different.
Yeah.
So
where we at? All right. So this is what we gonna do. We just gonna get right to it, because
Yeah, bro.
Biddy said, "I'll take any leftover posters." All right. So, as you know, if you've been here before, this isn't the usual cast. We have
The hell you say?
we have Heard Through the Grapevine podcast with us today, and there's a very specific reason why.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
As has confusion.
Okay.
So it used to be a time, right, where the Black Culture Geeks had a sister program
Mhm.
called Coffee with Chloe
That's right.
out there in Los Angeles.
That's
I
right.
don't know if Chloe is still doing her
I don't think
podcast
she is.
anymore. So does that effectively make Heard It Through the Grapevine
I
the
mean,
sister
yeah.
podcast? I think that's how that
I
works.
can't argue with that. That's some decent logic you got right there, sir.
That's how it works.
All right,
Yeah.
so jump right into it. Y'all see the title. So
Yeah, we see it. We see it.
so we have another Divine Counseling LLC update. I want to start off by wishing the owner, Miss Kara Ashley Raquel, Baltimore, a happy belated birthday.
Happy belated.
Absolutely. The conversation that we had on May 8th is what got us to this point. It was one thing for the issues that popped up prior to that to happen. Sure. What up, GA? We've already talked about how terrible all of that was.
GA.
Cool. We're not going to relitigate anything. It's a completely different thing, though, to come make statements about everything that happened and for the company to be where it is now. The first reason it's different is because her deciding to come to my post and say the things she did made it so that, even more than before, people were reaching out to us about stuff because that was the most info they had ever gotten about any of these situations. Then, the second reason is accountability. So her excuse for most of the things was that either she was unaware because, well, the vast majority of the things was she was unaware because she wasn't that greatly involved in the company. But she pledged to get back in the saddle and start fixing things. In fact, she said several things were going to happen. For a quick recap, she said 1099 employees were in the process of being transitioned back to full-time W-2. She said the issue with the 401k contributions was figured out and the money was going where it belonged. She said that she would reach out to Chrissy about how the company was running and get any suggestions that Chrissy had. She said that she would be going live that following Wednesday to address everything. And she said that the communication was about to improve. Now, as of today, March 31st, I have no evidence. I'm sorry, May 31st. I have no evidence that those things happened. In fact, I have evidence that most of that either didn't happen or got worse. So Chrissy still has not received her money for those contributions. There was an email that went out about this. We'll get to that a little bit later. Kara didn't go live. Kara didn't reach out to Chrissy. We know that several employees still are on 1099 status. Now, it's possible that communication may have improved with some people. There's really no way of us knowing that for sure. But
that's also part of the whole problem with this is that the inconsistency of not treating everybody the same way in regards to communication and stuff so that you can try to have some sort of credibility when you say, well, we talk to people. Yeah, but you didn't talk to everybody that you were supposed to talk to, so you don't get credit for that.
It's funny how you mentioned not treating everybody the same way. We're going to get to that. Last week, we told you guys about two new issues. People had found out that their health benefits had been canceled dating back to the time this all started, and employees didn't get paid last Friday. Now we have an update. The executive team sent out the following email. Good afternoon, all. First and foremost, I want to sincerely thank you for your continued patience and understanding during this time. We recognize and deeply apologize for the lack of communication regarding the recent delay in payroll. At this time, we expect direct deposits to be processed and sent out by Friday, May 30th. We truly appreciate your dedication and grace as we work through this. So, one employee had a couple of
Choice words.
legitimate questions for them. So the response, just to confirm, are we being told that payment will be processed on the 30th and that it will not be delayed? And for the upcoming June 6th payment, can we expect it to be issued on time or should we anticipate another delay? I want to be absolutely clear on the timeline moving forward. This ongoing uncertainty is incredibly frustrating and quite honestly unacceptable. I've just had a child, and like everyone else, I rely on being paid for the work I've done, even if I didn't just have a child. Timely compensation isn't optional, it's essential. Please be transparent about what's really going on. We need honest, clear communication, not more vague updates or shifting timelines. I look forward to your response. So, I think it's pretty safe to say that they never responded to her.
I don't think so.
Okay.
So to be clear, just to get the timeline straight, right?
Uh-huh.
To be clear, a few weeks ago, we had that conversation on your post.
Yeah, about a month ago.
About a month ago, right?
Yeah.
And it was at least implied
Mhm.
that there were changes coming.
Imminent.
That were imminent.
Yeah.
Imminent arrival of changes,
Mhm.
and things would be very businesslike,
Mm.
and the expectations, responsibilities that they had, they were upheld, and this was just a snag. They were going through a rough time, and by the way, we Black.
That's a case we didn't know.
This is what we were told, but now it's a month later.
Mhm.
And what we're seeing in some of these cases, things progressively getting worse.
Yeah.
Correct.
She also said on the status that up to this date, everybody has been paid, which at that time was true. But shortly after that, they were not paid for the next pay period.
Right. The very next pay period.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we processed that. Moving on. All right. Later on in the week, Little Miss April Fools sent out the following message to a select few employees. Good afternoon.
Which is part of the problem again.
Good afternoon. Thank you for your patience as we navigate this unexpected challenge/transition. I am currently working with Kara to send out immediate wires for the front end department. At your earliest convenience before the end of the day, please send me your account information to be wired today. Again, I do apologize for the inconvenience, and I want to express my deep appreciation for all of you. All right. First of all, somebody please take her email privileges away.
Oh,
because
yikes!
This isn't even formatted professionally. Like what? But anyway, all right. So one employee who was,
you know why that's especially egregious? Because we live in the era of AI where you can really just put it in there and say, format this in a business format type email.
Absolutely. So one of those select few employees who was involved in that email sent a response. They were not having this. Hi, let me start by saying that my frustration is not directed at you personally, and I don't wish to make your job any harder than it has to be. That is how you do.
Gracious,
okay,
bro.
Okay.
Gracious.
And I do not wish to make your job any harder than it has to be. I understand you're doing what you can under the circumstances, and I do appreciate the communication. However, I need to be honest. My patience with how this situation is being handled has completely run out. I am not comfortable resending my personal banking information for a wire transfer. I already submitted this information through QuickBooks when we were previously instructed that, quote, immediate action was needed. Since then, there has been no transparency about where that data went, how it's being stored, or who has access to it. The lack of communication and the repeated requests for sensitive information feel careless and unprofessional. For the record, I do want my funds released to me immediately. Let me be very clear about that.
Yes.
But I also have a right to set boundaries around how that happens.
Hey, wait a second. They want their money?
Wanting to be paid quickly and wanting to protect my financial and personal information are not contradictory. I shouldn't be forced to choose between being compensated and protecting myself from potential risk.
What up, sis?
What up, sis? The company's failure to follow through on secure, established systems like direct deposit through Gusto and QuickBooks is not something I should have to correct or work around. That's on leadership to resolve. In addition, with a wire transfer, how exactly will I receive a pay stub or any documentation showing what I've been paid for? This only adds another layer of confusion and lack of accountability. It's concerning to be asked to accept money without a breakdown of hours, taxes, or deductions.
Well,
And speaking of confusion, what exactly is this, quote, unexpected challenge or, quote, transition we keep hearing about? Because at no point has there been any clear communication about what's happening behind the scenes. We've been left to guess, speculate, and stay silent while our pay is delayed, our questions go unanswered, and vague language continues to be used to gloss over very real issues. What's worse is the selective and inconsistent way compensation is being distributed. The executive email sent out to all active staff stated clearly, quote, at this time, we expect direct deposits to be processed and sent out by Friday, May 30th. But we were informed by you that the front end department is being prioritized for wire transfers, and we should receive their owed pay by the end of the day. Why is there a hierarchy of urgency when it comes to employees getting paid?
Yikes.
This type of picking and choosing is not just frustrating, it's unethical and fundamentally wrong, and it would be remiss of me to not acknowledge these disingenuous actions. Lastly, I have included all active staff
This was
on
the
this
mic
email, not to ruffle feathers or cause any further undesired stress on anyone, but because I believe my colleagues deserve to know the truth about the level of disorganization and deception we've been subjected to. My intention is not to cause disruption, but to advocate for transparency, fairness, and accountability. I sincerely hope that this desire for open dialogue does not interfere with the timely distribution of funds or result in any form of retaliation against me. We deserve timely, equal, and transparent treatment. I'm more than willing to work through difficult circumstances as a team, but not while being kept in the dark, as to compromise my security and watching others be prioritized without explanation. I appreciate both you and Kara's attention to this matter. Finally, I hope to gain more clarity soon. Have a great day.
well,
Woo!
here's
Nigga.
the thing, right? Do you see just the level of professionalism that was in that email,
Mm-hmm.
all while rightfully accusing people of being deceptive? Now, I'm
Right.
gonna tell you, a lot
And
of
then-
people don't really react well to being lied to,
Right.
Facts.
especially when it comes to their money.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so since we all from Baltimore, we all from or have hung around the hood areas,
Mm-hmm.
you know what happens
Mm.
there when somebody not only doesn't give you money that's supposed to be yours, but then lies to you about it.
Right.
Facts.
I think this person conducting themselves in this business-like manner should be applauded for that, considering the fact that the people that they're giving this grace to hasn't really earned it.
No.
They
Not at
haven't
all.
earned any of that grace, bro.
Facts.
Not at all. So that was the professional response.
Uh-oh. Yikes.
So one employee who received this mass email,
Again, this is Baltimore, y'all.
who was
So,
finding
go ahead.
out.
But wait, before you read that, let me make it really clear that basically what that first employee was saying was, hey, why did we get a separate email say it's going to be one way?
Right.
But you sent to staff, it was going to be another way. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure all the staff
Mhm.
see that
So
email
everybody
that you only
knows.
sent to us. So everybody on the same page.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So another employee who found out with the mass email, finding out about this selective behavior, decided to add their 2 cents. I was going to ignore this initially, but since it has come to my attention that there are funds available for certain people, I'd like to point out that you said, quote, at this time, we are not able to use another payment method for payroll. I'm taking that to mean there's not another payment method for payroll for me. And they put the meme of Tyler, the Creator, and the caption is, so that was a fucking lie. Clearly, going behind the scenes and attempting to be sneaky is not working in your favor.
Oh!
So I recommend, in my very unprofessional opinion, to make an attempt at actual honesty and transparency. Good luck.
Woo!
Good luck
That
and
duck.
Godspeed.
Good luck is ominous, my guy.
I feel they still got off relatively unscathed because
yeah.
Oh yeah.
you can clearly tell from the tone of that this person is right at that edge
Sick
and
of
they're
it.
about to break. I'm talking hybrid theory, Lincoln Park. Every little thing you say to me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like clearly.
Facts.
Clearly.
Now, all three of these responses to leadership are from three separate employees. But I thought everybody was happy.
Yikes.
And seeing as they all made sure
Wait a
to
minute, didn't they tell us that?
yeah, she
Didn't
said
they make
everybody
it
was
a
happy.
Didn't they
They
make
made
it a point?
They made it a point to express how happy their employees were. And seeing as though they all made sure to send these responses to everyone with a divine counseling email, I'm gonna bet that there will be more formally happy employees
Right.
joining the disgruntled side.
Also,
Well,
Thanks,
those
babe.
three sent the email out. None
okay,
of
we're
those
hearing
employees-
a lot of sound.
Tell Mo to calm himself down, constrain himself. We hear nothing but the noise.
Do y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm on mute.
Nah, we still heard it.
Oh. So those employees that sent the email, none of those employees were people that contacted us. So if you add that,
Right.
the people that contacted us,
That's a good point. That's a good point.
we are already at like 10 people.
Plus.
At least.
Yeah.
Plus the people that talked to me individually that I was cool with while I was there.
Facts.
So I don't know who's happy.
Right. So also, that worked that time, Gina. A little bit after Chrissy left, Divine hired a new clinical director. Here's an email that she sent out this past week.
Oh, goody.
Hi, clinicians. I wanted to share with you that I have made a decision to resign from my position at Divine Counseling. While my time here has been brief, it has been a pleasure getting to know some of you and working alongside such a dedicated team. I know this news may come as a surprise, and I want to be transparent in saying that this decision is based on factors related to the organization, not the team or any individual. I have great respect for the work you do and the challenges you navigate every day. I've seen firsthand how committed you are to your clients and to each other, even in the face of uncertainty. Wishing each of you continued strength and success. Warmly, that person. So,
I left the end of March, right?
Yeah. No, end of April.
End of April. She started the first week of May.
I just want to know, right? I just want to know. I really want to know, though. So when somebody is bleeding, there's a couple of things we all need to know. We need to know where the wound is coming from, like why, and who stabbed them.
Yeah,
that's what we need to know.
Yeah.
So at this point, after that conversation we had a month ago, the evidence appears, if I put my clue hat on,
right,
the evidence appears to be the owner in the boardroom. Because
here's the thing about that, yo. So the timeline suggests, right? Because this was a new hire in leadership. The timeline suggests that if we're taking the owner's words at face value and in good faith, that this person was supposed to be a part of this whole moving forward strategy.
Right.
That's what the timeline suggests. I have no information saying that for sure, but that's what the timeline suggests because we had that conversation on May 8th. This person started around that time.
Right. So her job was to come in because we lost another clinical supervisor a little bit before I left. She just left randomly. We all know now there was some of the reason why, clearly, but she was supposed to come in and basically help take some of the load off of the team leads so that we could be more supportive of our staff and like start that whole like cohesive movement. Clearly that didn't work.
She go. So
to be clear, no movement being made towards having a business manager. Okay, gotcha.
No, clearly not, because, bruh.
That was one of the suggestions in that conversation.
Yeah.
Just from my wife has done that sort of thing. She's currently doing that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
To a veterinarian office right now.
Right.
Because the owner, as brilliant as she is of a doctor, is not a business.
Absolutely.
Two different things.
Two different things. Right. Two different things. So later on in the week, leadership finally addressed the health benefits and they gave an update on the 401k. Good afternoon. We wanted to provide an update regarding your benefits. We are currently working with Betterment to process outstanding 401k contributions. These contributions will be reimbursed directly into your Betterment accounts over the next 1 to 2 weeks. We appreciate your patience as we complete this process. Medical coverage has been fully reinstated effective April 1st, 2025, following a temporary cancellation as of March 31st.
April 1st?
Wait. If you experienced any claim denials or issues during this period, you may now resubmit those claims. For assistance, please contact blah, 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 blah. Thank you for your continued understanding and patience as we worked to restore your benefits. All right, so basically, we still don't know when the contributions will be returned because when I had that conversation with the owner, she said, quote, and I went back to double check, finance has reached out to Betterment who will be rectifying this issue over the next few weeks. Now, I've never said this publicly, but that doesn't make sense. And here's why. Divine is the entity where the money is coming from. Gusto is the entity that handles payroll. Betterment is the entity that handles the investment. Okay? So you claim the issue was with the payroll company. That's what she said in that conversation. You said the issue was with the payroll company. How would the issue be on the investment company to fix?
Right.
And just a side note, these names, man, Divine, Betterment, Gusto.
All right. I mean, sure. So this is yet another example of you either not knowing how to properly communicate, not knowing what you're talking about, or not treating people like intelligent adults.
Well, how dare
2 weeks from now would make it about 6 weeks from when she made that statement. That's a month and a half. Yeah. Nobody refers to a month and a half as a few weeks unless they're purposely trying to make it look away.
Yeah. A few weeks is 3. 3 is.
I don't have my money.
Of course you don't.
I just look.
But back to the email. You claim the money's coming. Cool. Let's talk about the medical benefits. The way this reads to someone who is unaware or not that discerning is that there was a 1-day lapse in medical coverage. That is not what happened. Now, it's not a lie, but it's basically damage control. For the people who happened to not look at their coverage and had no reason to use it since the end of March, this comes off as harmless. But what this is missing is the amount of time the coverage was actually down, which is the actual period that during this period refers to. Also missing is the reason this happened. And of course, there is no apology.
No accountability.
No accountability taken. Okay. So with all of that going on, after sitting on all of these issues since at least January, after having the shit hit the fan at the end of March, after meeting direct criticism about it at the beginning of May, the owner has finally reached out to her staff at the end of May. Dear team, I want to take a moment to speak from the heart. Immediately. What are we doing here? But I'm sorry. Let me continue. I want to take a moment to speak from the heart and thank each of you for your continued dedication to your clients and to Divine Counseling. I know the past several weeks have brought uncertainty, frustration, and stress. There she go again. This has been happening. The shit hit the fan at the end of March. It is the end of May.
There she goes. There she goes again.
And I want to sincerely apologize for the role I've played in that. I want to also take this moment to remind you all that Divine Counseling is not a corporation. It's a single-owned entity, and I am a mother, a daughter, a sister, a black woman, a black woman, a black woman.
I can't, yo.
A black woman.
Yo, I'm out.
You
I'm
about
out.
to leave the set.
Yo,
wait. An individual, but beyond that, I am a human. All right. Because here's the problem, right?
Did she also mention she's carbon based?
Right.
What are we doing?
So here's the problem. You don't follow apologies with but. Do not follow apologies with but. Now she didn't use the word
but follows everything.
Hey, Nate.
That part. So you give this super vague general apology, and then you go into the very, very, very specifics of excuses for all of this happening. Like, I don't
much like the identity part.
Right.
Being used as like shields, because there are absolutely times when that is a reasonable exercise.
Yeah.
This ain't it.
This ain't that. And if this show was happening before we had that conversation with her, I would have very many more things to say.
Absolutely.
Because this little excerpt that I made this of it.
Yeah, bro.
Okay. But because I made a promise, I'm going to stand by my promise.
And you should. Now I didn't make such a promise. So you know what I'm saying?
There are people. I'll just say this instead of going that route. I'll just say there are several people who have reached out to us.
Yes,
with varying levels of specificity.
Yes,
in the information that they have shared with us.
Yes,
about you and your company.
Yes.
So again, I'm not going to say because I can't. I made a promise. So I'm not going to say what it was, but come on, bro.
Grace exists.
Yeah.
Grace exists, right? But it's only bestowed upon people who have shown good faith. One. And what this is looking like is not that, right? There are several instances where grace was given for certain excuses used.
Absolutely.
And we still see...
And some of them made sense.
Some of them made sense. But you know when they start eroding sense? The sense starts eroding when they're continuously being used when the person said they were doing things to change things.
Right.
And now we're right back at the point where a mother, a taxpayer, a humanoid, Homo sapien, carbon-based entity, 75% water on the third rock from the sun. At a certain point, it's like these are becoming shields. And what's dangerous about some of those descriptors she used, the dangerous part about you abusing the usage of those, there are real people that need to use them in certain situations.
Nigga, we don't gotta go far. You are talking to people who fit those descriptions.
Bro!
Right.
What are you talking about?
One of the new mothers said that.
Right. You are talking to people who fit those descriptions who aren't in the level of privilege that you're in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Who you are directly harming.
Yeah.
So anyway, let me finish. Let me get to the end of this goddamn email. I've never owned a company before this, and I have never been an employer who is responsible for over 100 families before now. I have made mistakes, and I am committed to learning from them.
Hold up. Did I hear 100 families?
100 families again.
Wait a minute. Yeah. Aren't these the same 100 families we supposedly hurt?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. That's exactly what she said. Right. I recognize that the lack of transparency, but you're nothing if not transparent. Hold up. Let me not misquote you, because you had said this, And when you had said this, I was like,
Perfect time, Gina.
No, let me not misquote you, because your first comment on my post started with, "I'm actually a very transparent person." Period.
Yikes.
Hold up. Now, when it said period, did it spell period out?
No.
There was a little dot right there.
Yeah,
Okay.
the mark, the punctuation mark. Now, that was the first thing you've ever said to me.
Wow.
I'm actually a very transparent person. I recognize that the lack of transparency, late notice, and pay issues.
Whoa! That's weird.
Yeah.
I'm actually a very transparent person. I recognize the lack of transparency.
Yeah.
They don't
match.
Yeah.
I recognize that the lack of transparency, late notice about pay issues, and overall communication gaps has caused concern and understandably impacted trust. I take full responsibility. You all deserve to feel secure, valued, and informed, and I am committed to making things right. After taking time to reflect and reset, I'm ready to lead with greater clarity, openness, and consistency. Here's what you can expect from me moving forward. More presence in the office. I'm excited to be returning regularly. Being more present is a key part of how we rebuild not just our operations, but our culture and connection as a team. I will be in the office, blah, blah, blah. Changes will be communicated beforehand. An open door policy. If you have concerns, suggestions, or just need a space to be heard, please come talk to me. I truly want to listen, especially when something doesn't feel right. Our team has done a great job thus far with supporting you all. Bullshit. And I intend to jump in for additional support. Weekly updates. Starting this week, I'll be sending out weekly emails with any and all updates so you're never left in the dark. You all will get more company information and updates as they arise. Clearer and earlier communication around payroll, company changes, and financial information. If there are ever any issues or delays, you'll receive honest, timely updates so there are no surprises. These updates will be on Mondays each week of payroll week. At this time, payroll for June 6th is expected to be on time. You will be updated with the status of our programs and where we stand financially with an updated budget and financial summary. Yo, GA, hey, GA said, does kicking in the door count in the open door policy?
Listen, while we certainly appreciate the Chat GPT-esque response right there.
Right. It's even in bullet.
Yeah,
points.
that's how. Well, yeah. We certainly appreciate.
I will say she didn't. I don't think she got it from Chat GPT because there are a couple misspellings and a couple.
Oh no! Well then, no.
Yeah, she didn't get this from Chat GPT.
I'm just saying, we certainly appreciated it then until 6 weeks later, and it's These were supposed to be actionable things, right? Items, right? Actionable.
Correct. Yes, they were supposed to be.
Look, and here's the other thing. I gotta say, and I know they're gonna do it anyway because I expect it.
Right.
You're going to have your defenders.
Absolutely.
Your defenders are going to come out and they're going to do their level best to gloss over, put nice fresh paint over. They're going to use many of the descriptions that you use to defend you because that's what people do.
She's a hardworking single mother with such and such and such and such,
and we're black.
Yeah, and we're black.
All that's gonna, and we recognize that that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But you need to recognize it is meaningless after 6 weeks. Like that initial thing where the Avengers came out, you saw the hole in the sky, and Loki and them was coming out with the Chitauri and all that. The Avengers came over there and they did their thing. That was all cute. It was all cute, and it was expected, really.
Right.
Like that was expected. But the problem is the solutions to the problem that you stated you were going to do have not been done, or at the very least have not been done in a manner that stuck. Right. So what it seemed like to me is you was patching up holes instead of actually fixing the
because it's not different. All right, so they're absolute. All right, what I want to do, because we received, well, I don't know if we
Biddy said,
just me.
I'm literally a transparent person. can see my veins. Now that's
Now, I don't remember if she was pointing this toward that episode of the podcast or if it was just me, but it was several times. You don't know everything. Listen. And so that I don't get accused of claiming that I know everything again, which I never claimed.
Right.
I want to point out that there are probably several pieces of this that are beyond my scope.
Yes.
Absolutely. 100%. However, when we had that conversation, you were talking about clearing up communication and transparency and all that other type of stuff. That's
what we're
a simple
specifically talking about.
conversation.
Yeah.
That's a conversation that don't take 4 months. 4 weeks of, what did she say? Where the past several weeks have been blah, 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 blah. I want to take this moment. Black woman, black woman, black woman, black woman. Blah, blah, blah. After taking time to reflect and reset. It doesn't take 4 weeks of reflection to tell your leadership team, hey, when something happens, when we find out, we have to tell them. It don't take 4 weeks of reflection for that. It doesn't take 4 weeks of reflection to tell your leadership team, hey, we need to treat our employees equally fair.
Shut up, GA.
It doesn't take 4 weeks of reflection to tell your leadership team, hey, start responding when people ask questions about things that are going on. It don't take all that time.
No.
Some of those other things, I don't know what you got going on in your life. Absolutely, it's possible.
But can we just say, I mean, to be honest, and not to be overly flippant about the situation, but the whole you don't know everything.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
Right now, I can't tell you what's happening on the North Pole of Mars.
Right.
I have no knowledge of that at all. I can't even tell you what that dumbass cat is doing upstairs right now. Right? But we're not talking about everything.
No.
We're talking about the things that have been shown. Right. Not everything. No one's going to pretend that we know everything about the situation.
No.
Well, we know a lot more.
And I know much more than you think I do.
That's the other thing. You don't exactly know how much we know. But other than that, we do know a few more things now that your mother, black woman, we know that now. Appreciate it.
Right.
But we don't need to know everything to know this.
Right.
If but one of those charges is true, it's egregious.
That part.
That's all.
And we don't need the if because we have proof.
This, by the way, in that first initial conversation, I specifically made it a point to say we have receipts,
bruh,
and we don't care about any allies coming around acting outraged because it's meaningless when you have the facts. The facts don't care about none of that stuff. How you feel about it, how you feel about her, you're welcome to that. I respect it. That's your folks.
Absolutely.
That don't change none of this, though.
No.
It just don't.
And what would it behoove me to come on this bitch and be making stuff up?
Right. Also, we expect
people
that are her family to say stuff.
Of course.
You're her family.
Right.
You're gonna do that.
Like, it's a double thing. You're her family and she employs you?
Right. Oh, you definitely gonna listen. It's like me and SPJ talked about this before. Listen, it's a great thing when your family comes out and supports your music. But that's not who you really want to support your music.
Who you want doing it, because we already know that's your people's.
Yeah.
That opinion gets taken with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Of course my mama like what I do.
That part. Like, what?
Right?
It's my mama.
It's my mama. But
she going it remains to be seen if she'll hold up to this batch of promises. Right. But already some employees are not feeling it. Yeah.
They have no hands?
Well,
Oh, you mean it's like they're not feeling? Oh, got
yeah,
you, got you.
like a line that sticks out to me right now from the response of this is like, yeah, we didn't choose to have dedication to divine. You left us with no choice.
Right.
Wow. Sean P. Wow.
What up? What up? You left them with no choice. What do you mean? This is these people's livelihoods. Everybody's not in a position they can just get up and leave.
Yeah, I think that's the other part of this that is lost on a lot of this. Like, these are workers, and at the end of the day, I'm gonna always stand for like workers' rights.
Facts.
Because simply put, nobody asked you to start a business.
Correct.
Nobody forced you to start a business.
Correct.
You started a business, and then you went and you told people that you can get employment here.
Right.
And it's not their fault, right, that the way our society is structured, they want to connect healthcare to employers. They want to do all these other things. That's not the workers' fault. This is the system they're in. So that means you have some responsibilities. The employee has responsibilities. Show up on time. Do the work that was they're supposed to be getting paid to do. Don't be stealing shit and don't be breaking shit. Right. But your responsibility is to make all that other administrative shit. That's on you. And when that shit does not work out, even though I know all bosses delegate, they tell you do this department does this, this department does that. That's fine. What's up, Honey Dragon? That's fine.
What up?
That's fine. But at the end of the day, the buck stops with you, and that's why all of the whole pointing at this person's too young. This person that you hired them.
You did it. You put them in that position. What are you talking about? You hired them. Like I'm a mother. Okay, so it makes it okay for you to make it so other mothers can't feed their kids.
That part.
Like, what are we talking about here?
That part.
I'm a daughter. What does that have to do with anything? Like, I'm a sister, a black woman. Okay. Like
my Hapla group is L3D. Yo, I know all of that. That's cool, right? Mine too. But listen,
this is word vomit. It's not only is it not necessary and not helpful, it's actively hurting.
Yeah.
Because you went from a vague apology directly into making excuses.
Yeah.
What are we anyway?
When the excuses is more detailed than the apology, there's a problem. There's a problem.
What are we talking? So we'll see. Again,
GA said, I'm a little teapot. I got to do anything. Like, come on, man.
Again, as long as there's harm being done, we'll be here. But speaking of the owner of Divine and how she insinuated that we let white businesses off the hook. Hi, Gigi. What's going on with you?
Hold on. I gotta put my there we go. Okay. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Dr. Nick.
So I guess I need to introduce myself.
A little bit.
My name is Gigi, and I am the owner of Wix Drinks. And Wix Drinks is a mobile bar. I am a professional bartender. I've been bartending for 21. Oh, Lord, I put some age on me. 21 years. I started in 2004, I think. Yes. Mm-hmm.
You don't know.
I don't know. I know I don't. I have certificates in mixology and wine and drugs. I say drugs. I say drugs, and people laugh, but honest to God, I have a certificate. I went to a class.
You're a pharmacist?
You have to learn about drugs because it goes hand in hand with alcohol. So you have to learn the effects of drugs paired with alcohol. So yes, I have a certificate in drugs. I can tell you what you are probably laced with.
Wait a minute. You said alcohol and drugs. So
Yes, alcohol.
did you
You're
have
the
to learn about
FDA.
firearms? Because ATF.
ATF.
That is a
Alcohol,
good.
tobacco,
They need to add that.
firearms.
You got a bunch of
Hey,
acronyms behind you, miss.
I'm just saying.
But no, I didn't learn about firearms. Only
Oh,
edible substances that can be added with alcohol.
oh,
I also am the owner of Invictus. Invictus is right now a pop-up bar. It is for alternative POC and Black kids and adults. When I say kids, I mean 18 and up. Invictus was created because, so I'm alternative, meaning I'm into the goth, skater, gamer life.
hmm
And when we used to go to a club called Orpheus, it was all of us Black kids, and Orpheus was a white club. We used to have a night called what was it called? I can't remember the name of the night. It was years ago. But we would go and
hey, GG.
yes.
GA.
Okay.
GA just said alcohol and drugs. GG got a degree in fun.
Yes, I have a degree. Oh, that's fine. I need to take that. I'm stealing that. So we used to go to Orpheus. Orpheus is a white alternative club but what was a white alternative in a club in Baltimore. We had a night, and the DJ would mix that. When we would go, he would mix club music and alternative music, meaning like industrial and people that are into that life, they would call it techno. It's not really techno, but it's in that area, right? So he would mix our Black music with their white music, and we had blast. Didn't we, Kristen?
Yeah. Every Friday and Saturday. We used to do all the time.
We were blessed. So Orpheus decided after a while that this was not the roots of alternative. So they basically kicked that particular day out and went back to their roots of whiteness. They didn't say that, but that's what it was.
That's basically what they said.
Yeah. So we and another one of my friends who was the owner of this night, he started the night. He realized that what they were saying, they didn't want the Blackness. So I created Invictus.
They didn't want you niggas in there.
Yeah.
Facts.
The thing is, they wanted the niggas. They didn't want the culture of the niggas.
Right.
Okay.
They wanted us to be like
Gotcha.
that.
So
we
America.
We never felt like they didn't want us there.
They wanted your money.
They want our money.
Yeah.
So I invented or created Invictus for this reason, because we need our culture too. We're even though we're goth, and goth is a part of a white culture, we are still this way. We're still Black. We still need our hip hop. We still need our clothes we wear. We still need that kind of stuff. So I created Invictus so we could have that basically. I'll sell all that at the end. But anyway, I also am the owner of Peculiar People, and that is a shop online, peculiarpeoplegifts.shop. I make clothes and I design things and I make candles, that kind of stuff. You can go online and look at that. What else do I do?
Everything.
Oh, I am the rhythm guitarist.
Right. Like, how you forget that part?
Right. Been doing that since I was 16. Unlisted After Death is an alternative hip hop band. I am the rhythm guitarist of that. You can look up our music and anywhere. And also unlistedafterdeath.com, and you can see us there.
GA wants to know,
yes.
Do you make sage candles?
Sage candles? Oh, sage and like, okay, so I'm also
She do everything.
Okay.
Right.
I am not a real person.
No.
I am also
all right. So basically, everybody that hears all the shit that I do and be like, yo, why you do? Right. Hold on. I'm married.
Right.
This lady.
Right.
This lady.
Right.
I picked the same person over and over in my life.
Again,
Keep going.
Oh God, I'm
Keep
not a
going.
real person.
Keep going.
Okay.
Author.
I am also an author.
Uh-huh.
see,
I have two more things. I swear,
yo,
I'm
it's
two more
crazy.
things and I'm done.
This is crazy.
You said sage candles. I think you're talking about cleaning the area. I am also the high priestess of Scions of the Moon. There's a coven in Baltimore. I do make. I'm going to make sage candles. I have not made that yet
It's coming.
currently, but we are working on that. We have finance and success candles right now. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
The thing I find crazy about. Oh damn!
What you say, smart?
Director.
I didn't do the author thing first.
Okay.
I am also the author of 3 books. 2 are with the young lady right here. You can go to authorgcarmenad.com and find all of our books. And it's only 3, but we're coming out with more, of course. They are on Amazon to purchase.
She's
And I have my short stories on there. And you said director? I don't do that no more. Okay.
Yes, you do.
That still counts.
No, yes, you do. We're not doing that.
I don't do that no more.
We're not doing that.
We are currently working on a movie. And
so you are directing.
Yes, I am currently working on a movie. It's called The Groomsmen. But I can't talk about it right now.
Listen, the thing that I find so insane about all of that is that how do all of very similar, the same type of people wind up gravitating towards
it's energy?
Because it's like SPJ said, when he tells people all the stuff he does, they look at him like, what the fuck? I've been dealing with that for at least the last 10 or 15 years.
Right.
Where, oh, you do this? Yeah. But I just saw you do that. Yeah, I do that. Oh, you do that? Yeah, I do that. You do this? Now, part of it could be my ADHD.
No, nigga, clearly.
Give me that. Give me that. Give me that.
Well, the thing is, there's so many things to do in the world. And I'm almost 40. So I would have collected several things to do.
You would think,
over the course.
Right.
So yeah, I told people always say, you got to be lying. You can't be doing all these things. Like, you have to think. I've been alive for 40 years. It's a million things to do, and I only do like 6 of them. So it's.
Thank you,
really
Biddy. For everybody listening, Biddy put the link to Peculiar People Designs in the chat.
Oh, is that mine? Let me make sure.
It's so funny. It's just so funny how all that shit works, because it's like you said.
No, that's not me. I'll put mine.
There's a lot of things to do in the world.
Yeah.
And this is why I argue for at least a very restrained version of immortality. Because I don't have enough time to do all the things that I want to do with this measly 5,000 years you gave me.
I think UBI would be a better use of wishes if we're gonna over immortality. I think UBI would be a better use.
So I put the actual link on there, and no, you're fine. And the funny thing is, when I put the link, my nonprofit popped up, and I didn't talk about that. I have a nonprofit called Dante's Song, and it's for the education of music, and because people like to take music out of schools, and we don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
So all the theater stuff and the music stuff I like to do under the name of Dante's Song.
I mean, it's whack when they take music out of schools, but it did give us hip hop. That's literally how.
Absolutely, that's how it started.
Yeah,
I actually read Will Smith's biography, and he was talking about that. Mm-hmm. And if you haven't read Will Smith's biography, I don't care how you feel about him. You should read it. It was life changing, to be honest. This is Moon Juice that you can purchase. All of my stuff is in my story. All of my stuff that I make is in my story.
You actually squeezed the moon and got juice out of that. That's
you
crazy.
Understand the power of black women?
That's crazy.
That's what Kara was trying to tell us.
It's called moon juice because I don't know if I'm a very spiritual person. So you sit water under the moon and you bless it, and I make liquor out of it.
That's why we can't see afterwards. It's too powerful.
And you can't see. I'm so sorry.
She over here making liquor out of moonlight. Nigga, what are we even? What?
I do. Please, y'all. But you can go in my IG and you can see Wix drinks and you can see the liquors that I make. I make wine too. But that is not why I'm here.
And don't forget to watch us on Heard It Through the Grapevine.
Right. She didn't even mention her.
Podcast host.
Oh, I am a podcast
She didn't even mention Heard It Through the Grapevine.
Listen, it's too many things. I'm gonna have to list. I'm at the one day. I'm gonna just list everything. But
to the point that me and her got like what 3 different things that we got in queue to work on that have nothing to do with each other.
Yes, that's crazy.
Crazy.
I am the co-host of Heard It Through the Grapevine, who I also write books with. My next book coming out is coming with her too.
I finally get to see my other half because most of the time it's just me here. So this is my other half.
Right.
Yes, this is my bestest friend.
Also, she's a part-time resident of my house.
Yes. And they ain't put no room in there or nothing for me, y'all.
That's crazy.
You think at this point I would have a bedroom.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Thank you. I'm coming over there tonight.
The cat has a room, but you don't? That's crazy.
Listen, hey, whose side are you on? Nigga.
It's crazy. But let's get into why I'm here. I don't know if y'all know. But I was a lead bartender at Kneads Bake Shop. That is Kneads Bake Shop on South Central Avenue? I think so. 506 South
Los
Central
Angeles?
Avenue.
No.
Oh, you mean?
Yes, I think so.
No, I have to hold on. Let me make sure. That's terrible.
It's on Central. We just don't know if it's South Central.
Yeah, I don't know if it's South or not.
Is it Compton?
Shut up.
Please. I just realized. Yes, 506 South Central Avenue. Yes, Kneads Bake Shop. I was the lead bartender there for 2 years. When I came there, they had no liquor license. They had no bar. They told me, well, when I got hired in the hiring process, I was actually retired from bartending. I was a florist. That was my first job ever, was florist. So I went back. And I didn't.
Add another joke to the list.
Please stop. I didn't want. It's not like I wasn't going back to bartending. I was taking a break, and I was emailed by one of the managers, and they were interested in me being the lead bartender. And I said, sure. I filled out the application and everything, and they got back to me, and they was like, oh, by the way, we don't need a lead anymore. And I said, oh, well, if you don't need a lead, I'm not interested in the job. I'm not going to be just a bartender.
No, that's right.
All this experience.
Thanks.
So I was like, oh, that's fine. And he emailed back and said, never mind, we need a lead. And I was like, okay. So I go to the job interview, 2-hour job interview.
Damn.
Yeah, 2 hours. I went to the empty building that is now a restaurant. And I showed him all of my recipes. And, well, I showed him my Wix Drinks page. And I told him I would bring in my recipes. We talked about everything, anime, drinks, Baltimore, all that stuff, and the place where he was from and all that. And then he hired me. That was November of 2022. I got hired in March. I started my job March 2023. Yeah, that's when they were finally open, March 2023. That was only, I came in, I think 3 weeks before to start and set everything up. There was no liquor license. Mm-hmm. So they had to go to the liquor store down the street at Whole Foods and get liquor, which is illegal, by the way. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't going to snitch, whatever.
That's not even here nor there.
Yeah. No, I think it's only illegal if you have a liquor license. They didn't have one, so I think it's fine. They bought it. I was making drinks from it. They had like a list of ingredients put together that they wanted me to make a drink with, and it was like 5 different drinks. So I created those recipes. One of the recipes was for espresso martini called the only espresso you need, and I created this recipe with a barista. This drink has been basically what has been explained to me one of the greatest espresso martinis in Baltimore right now. It was on top 10. I think it was top 10 espresso martini list. I don't know if you guys ever followed the Blue Beard foodie. He was has an Emmy. Well, he's Emmy nominated show right now. He put my martini on his list as one of the best in Baltimore. Yeah,
no,
and
I'm not really into food that much, so
okay.
Oh no. We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
What happened?
No. We gotta let her finish. No, we gotta let her finish. You can't lie. You can't lie right now.
Oh man.
Now he was lying. So I created, of course everything went in the menu. We opened. It was chaos, but the whole time I kept saying I opened restaurants before. It's going to be chaos for the first year.
Yeah.
The chaos never went away. It never went away. To the point where at the end of my time there, I thought it was better, but it wasn't. It was that I was used to the chaos. And so let me just get into what I was doing for them. I had to write this down because it was a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
So when we first started, like I said, I had 2 carts. They put me in the front at first, but they moved me into the back later. And Chrissy saw my setup. It was basically 2 tables and 2 bar carts, silver carts. And I was running my bar from this. I wasn't open to the customers yet, but I was making service drinks. I had to take at least 30 bottles, probably more bottles, and like 20 beer bottles and 10 wine bottles up and down the steps every single day. I would have to create a bar every single day. I asked them over and over again, can we just keep the liquor downstairs? And they said no, because we don't have security, or we don't have a camera, nothing. And I was like, okay, that sounds yeah, because people steal. So I was like, that sounds right. You don't want nobody taking your Douce. I understand. So I was just like, all right. So I would take it up and down the steps when I was time to close. When it's time to open, it was time to close. I would take all this liquor up and down the steps. So I'm setting up the bar. They hired another bartender. I don't know if you know this, but if you're a lead bartender, that means you need other people to lead.
Mm-hmm.
I had no one. I had no one to lead. It was nobody. Yeah.
You really did.
It was nobody. So they hired another one. So I was like, okay, finally, I'll get to be, a lead bartender. I come in the day that he started changing my recipes. I said, what is going on? He was just like, oh, they told me I could do it. What do you mean? I didn't say this to him. I was very nice because it was his first time. I said, oh, okay. I go to the manager. It's like, why is he changing my recipes? And he was just like, oh, I just told him if anything needs to be tweaked, you can do it. I'm sorry. I don't know. Like, what are you talking about? And I said, but I feel like if you make a recipe and you approve it, it should stay that way. Like it's on the menu already. It's been served that way.
Right.
So why would you change it? And I was just talking about how, me being the lead. And he said, oh, I thought you both could be lead. It's 2 people.
What? What?
So this caused, because he was lied to. So this caused, the bartender was lied to. So this caused a rift between us. He ended up leaving and going to their sister company. And they saw him there. And they were just like, you can't work here. And he said, well, I won't work there, basically. He didn't say that, but he said it to me. So he quit.
Wow.
That caused the issue between us. And it wasn't even our issue to have between us. Like they are the ones who.
Yeah.
But anyway, they finally got someone who I actually taught how to bartend. I had classes. I would have classes on Monday, and I taught mixology. And I actually taught him how to bartend, and he finally came back there with me, and I love him to this day. He ended up leaving too, leaving to leave. He left a long letter to them. But anyway, he started with me, and he would basically close up the bar after I was gone. The other things that I went through when we had tastings, we would have tastings where we changed the menu summer, spring, fall, winter. So we had tasting every 3 months. And I would make black drinks, but I also would, and let me explain to y'all what a black drink is.
Yeah, please.
Black people and white people do not drink the same, and everybody knows that we don't eat the same either. So I don't know why that is a surprise. We don't drink the same stuff. Black people like sweet brown fruit. That's what they like to drink. Okay, white people like bitter, floral, that kind of stuff. That's how they drink. And nothing wrong with that. We just drink different things. Right. So I would have a black cocktail and I have a white cocktail. Of course, I didn't call it this when I was presenting it, but
of course you did. Of course.
The white cocktail went every time. Every time. Black one. Can you tweak this? Can you do this? It was a POC on the management team, and he loved the black one every time.
Right.
So, I would make the drink, and he was the only reason why some of them would pass, and they would go crazy. Like my whole bar was black. The customers was black. The people that sat there on the bar stools, I'm not talking about the people like they were out in the restaurant, but the people that sat in the bar stools, they were black mostly. Everybody knew. So I had this drink called the watermelon. It was a watermelon. What did I mix with it? I think it was something spicy. I can't remember. It was like 2 years ago. But no, actually, it was 1 year ago. I had the hot Q, and then I had this strawberry margarita. It went crazy. It was a watermelon margarita. It went crazy. It was the black drink. So it was reposado to tequila.
Wait, why had to be watermelon? Yeah. You see what's happening? You see what's happening here?
Listen, black people like what they like.
Well, I'm just saying, why you ain't put chitlin flavor in? Look,
oh God! Sometimes you got to go with the stereotype because it's hit every time.
That's true.
That's true. I like watermelon.
I love watermelon. That's not the point.
Yeah, absolutely. Watermelon's delicious.
It was watermelon basil. That's what it was. It was but watermelon basil. So it went crazy. I had another one that was spicy pineapple. That went crazy. Anything with fruit, black people like. If you make it spicy, they like. Okay, you make that brown liquor. Black people. And I'm not talking about like whiskey. No, brown tequila, cognac.
Right.
Brown rum. Like it gotta be brown.
I'm good.
So this last tasting, I created a couple of drinks, and the POC from the management team was gone. So of course mine didn't get picked. The black one that I picked. The white ones went through. The black ones did. And I did bring it up to the management. And she was like, yeah, we do have some white girl drinks, right? So there was a manager there that came shortly after I was hired. I think like maybe 3 months after I was hired. Finally, they hired a bar manager. He basically told them he was keeping the liquor downstairs. Like there's cameras on him.
Okay.
All he had to say was that. And I did not have to bring the liquor up and down the steps anymore. And I was just like, why did that not work when I said it 3 months?
Yeah, right. For real.
I was like, so that already indicated that they didn't respect me. So That stopped. He brought the fridge down. There was also a beer fridge all the way upstairs, so I had to gather the beer and come downstairs and put it into like ice. He was like, cut that out. We're bringing the fridge downstairs too. I asked him for that. They gave it to him. So me and him, we were tussling in the beginning, but we ended up being cool because he saw that they was crazy. And I said, yeah. He said, so this is what you've been going through. I said, yeah. That's what I've been going through.
So before you judge, right, you said like.
So one thing that he did though, so I had to fight 2 times for Hennessy to stay behind the bar. And I just want y'all to know that is very important to keep Hennessy, if you're not racist, it's very important to keep Hennessy and Douce and cognac behind your bar. I don't know if people, I love telling people this. Hennessy and Black people have a very beautiful history. People make fun of it like it's, niggas drinking Hennessy. But people make fun of it, but I don't, whenever I hear somebody make fun of it, I always tell them the story. And it was World War II. Black soldiers, and y'all know Black soldiers did not get treated fairly even when they came home. Okay, so Black soldiers were in France, and France didn't care nothing about that racist stuff. You was a person in France. I'm talking about back then. Now they're a little racist.
I'm talking about back then.
Okay, so
where
these soldiers were, they were fine.
Okay,
so they were in blues. Well, yeah, that's why they were fine. They were in blues bars and stuff like that, right? So even though like these blues bars was run by white people, they had a great time there, and they would drink something called cognac. Cognac is a brandy made in Cognac, France. Brandy is fermented and distilled wine, and they made it over there. It wasn't that big, but you have to have it from Cognac, France for it to be cognac, by the way. So they were over there drinking it, and they loved it so much. Now, we don't know the science on why Black people love cognac, but that's just what it was. The soldiers loved it, and they came to America, and they was like, we're still drinking this cognac, right? We're like, I'm going to drink it. Y'all need to ship it. So the cognac people was like, all right, we're going to ship it. They shipped it to America. Black people drinking it. They got other people to drink it. This cognac distiller was failing, and Black people like dragged them out of poverty, basically.
Hey, that's some shit.
Yeah, and they were so thankful that they put Black people. They were the first liquor company to put Black people on their magazines. Real Black people, not characters of Black people, and it was Hennessy. Hennessy is
not Aunt Jemima.
They never put no Aunt Jemima. Hennessy is the first distillery to put real Black people on their advertisements. And Hennessy to this day has nonprofits and all this kind of stuff for the Black community. And they're not the only ones. Martell, I think Douce has one. It's a cognac, basically. They all support the Black community because they dragged them out of poverty all those years ago, basically. So because of this, white people would take cognac out of their bars if they did not want Black people to be there.
They want to attract no niggas go to
So I had to basically fight for Hennessy to be in Kneads because they tried to take it out one time with me, and I said why, and this particular bar manager, I was like, why, and he said, well, it's not selling. That was not true. It's Baltimore.
It's Baltimore. We're not doing that. Yeah. We're not doing that. Like,
nah. So now I will say it was selling slowly than it would have, like Black Swan. I'm pretty sure they selling 3 bottles a night.
Right.
I'm pretty sure, but it's Kneads. You know, people already weird about Kneads. Was weird about Kneads anyway because it was Atlas adjacent. And if you don't know about Atlas, Google it. I'm not going to tell the whole story, but anyway. So, but we was still selling Hennessy, and I said, "You're going to really take Hennessy out off the bar. And he went upstairs and he came back. He said, "You're right. It is selling." I said, "I know it's selling. You was just trying to take it out. For what reason? I'm not going to drag out right now, but
Right.
Right. That part.
So maybe a year later, the owner said, no, it wasn't the owner. I'm sorry. It was somebody below that said, we're going to take Hennessy off the bar. Why do y'all keep trying to take Hennessy off the bar?
Yeah.
What's the real issue? That, like, you didn't really tell me. So at this point, my other manager, who's white, is like, yeah, why y'all trying to take Hennessy off? Let me know what's going on. So, yeah, she actually got them to keep it because, yeah, like at this point, y'all acting crazy. So the one manager that was fighting for it, she was just like, "Do you know the history of Hennessy?" I said, "Oh, I'm gonna let her this." They ended up firing her too, by the way.
Of course. Look, they thought y'all was gonna say what the history of Hennessy is. When niggas be drinking that, all kinds of shit be kicking off.
That's what they thought.
That's what it was. That's what it was.
Listen, no alcohol, no liquor makes you do anything. That's you and your own brain.
That part.
Okay. So he ended up leaving, even though me and him were cool. I found out that he was actually sexually harassing a lot of the young ladies there.
Damn, Josh Whedon. What the hell?
Right.
Yes, Josh Whedon.
What the hell?
I was just like, oh, wow. So, yeah, the young ladies was coming up to me like, oh, yeah, by the way, he's a pedophile. Or
jeez.
Or he was kind of cheap. I don't think the word is pedophile. I think it's like hebo. What is the other word when you... Hebophile, yes. I think everybody just used pedophile. But
yes, anyway. That's shorthand.
Yeah, shorthand.
Yeah. So he took out one young lady to lunch. She didn't know, if she was doing anything. She wasn't doing anything wrong. She didn't know he was doing anything wrong. Exactly. And when she came back, the other bartender that I was just telling you about that I trained him, he was like, he's not supposed to do that. First of all, he's married. He has two kids. Like, this is not right. And after that, after she knew that it wasn't right, she was just like uncomfortable being around him, and so was the other two young ladies. But anyway, this young lady went to the managers, and she told them that he was sexually harassing her, and she was being and she wasn't having a good time at work, having anxiety and everything like that. But she told the manager not to tell anyone. The manager did not tell anyone.
Oh, man.
And let her continue to be harassed until he quit.
That's crazy.
Thank you.
That's crazy.
Because if you're a manager and you watch this, if one of your employees comes to you and says, "Don't tell anyone, but I'm being sexually harassed," you tell someone.
It is your duty to do such.
To protect that booty. Listen.
Basically,
listen.
What are we talking about?
What are we? That's the crazy. Yo, listen. I have fired motherfuckers.
Yeah.
When I was supervisor for doing too much with the women on the crew, doing too much, playing around, going into the girls' lockers rooms, and we just play. No, nigga, you gotta go.
That part.
You gotta go. Nah.
You gotta go, basically. It's no way that you should keep someone there that's been harassing your people.
Insane. That
is people. And like so I remember walking past, and instead of helping me at the bar, drowning at the bar, it was 100 people party. He was in a young lady's face, a new young lady.
Crazy.
And I walked past the manager. I'm not going to tell you which man, because I'll say some names, but I'm not going to say all the names.
Right.
She said, "I think he wants to fuck her. This is your opportunity to go."
That part.
Oh.
Again, it is your duty at that point.
It's your job. Like,
to
what
put
are you
the
doing?
kibosh or whatever it is that's going on.
Listen, if you work for any place, I don't give a fuck what it is, and you are a person in a position of power,
Right.
there's rules with HR and all that shit about how motherfuckers supposed to be interacting with. There are certain places where it's against their rules for that sort of fraternization.
Yeah.
You can't do that. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yes, absolutely.
Bluffing,
so, so basically, I was it was like his last day, and we were talking by the elevator, and I was like breaking down. I broke down a lot there because it was crazy, but I was being like completely ignored, like my requests, and he was just staring at me while I was breaking down. He said, "I can see you're really upset. So this is probably the wrong time to tell you that I'm quitting."
Oh,
Yikes.
And I just bust out laughing. He said, "I believe everything you're saying, which is why I'm quitting." So and in his face, he was like really concerned for me, but he also was like,
I gotta get the fuck out of here. Yeah, this is not. I
Get
can't.
somebody else to do it.
Yeah, I can't.
So he started laughing, and he told me, he said, "I'm gonna tell you this. And he named 2 managers. He said, if they don't leave, Kneads is going to crumble." And I was like, okay, wow. And I never told anybody he said that. So I left. I'm working one day, and a young lady, I looked at her, and she was holding a paper, and I was like, because she looked weird. She was just staring at paper and she didn't know what to do. And she looked at me and she brought it over to me because she was young. A lot of people there are young, of course. I'm old. I'm probably older than everybody. Like, not everybody, but like, in the food service, everybody's pretty young because you just go start doing that after school, right? So, she was a baby, and she was like, "I don't know what to do with this. Should I throw it away? Should I give it to someone?" And I was like, "Well, just give it to me." So I looked at it. She gave it to me. I looked at it, and I could tell immediately that it was not something I was supposed to be reading. So I hid it, worked my shift. I took it out because I'm still nosy, and I walked it out. I literally walked it out of the building, and I read it, and it was an email from one of the family members to the owners about how much they were losing, how much money they were losing. And it was more than me and my husband made together in 1 week. Every week they was losing it. And I just was like, I'm not supposed to be reading this. I crumbled it up. I threw it away, and I never told a soul. I did a lot of stuff like that protected them. Like, I really protected them, because at the end of the day, if you work somewhere when they first begin and you basically built their program, built their bar,
you got a lot invested in that.
I invested it. I put love into them, like, and so basically I hit it, didn't tell nobody. I kept working. I was a little worried, obviously. I'm like, I'm not gonna have a job. I kept working, didn't say anything. I kept serving. One day, and this is getting into the racial stuff. One day I was walking up to one of the owner's family members, and he was showing one of the servers. He was showing them a video of Brandon Scott saying that DEI is now the N word, and he was not happy about it. And the only way you would be unhappy about that,
that part,
and I was just like, so I didn't want to serve this person anymore. Not that I didn't want, I'd say I'd take a break. I have to take a break from serving them. And they usually gave me this person to serve. That's why I walked up to them, because I was getting ready to serve them.
Right.
And my manager was like, "So I need to know why you don't want to serve this person." And I told her, like, this made me uncomfortable. And she was like, "Okay." Of course, nothing ever happened from it or anything. Nothing could happen for it. Unfortunately, if you don't act racist to someone, you can feel however you feel.
Facts.
Black people still have to serve you.
Right.
Like that's the crazy part about it, right?
So basically, what James said about always having the option to shut the fuck up.
Always.
Yeah.
Always there.
Yeah. You could just do that.
Right.
So
Because then I wouldn't know.
No one would know, right?
The shit, really, to be honest, the shit is so simple. But I feel like with some people, the hate is boiling over so much that they can't keep the lid on it long enough to function in the world.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Yeah. And you know what? I don't think they are. It's a bunch of microaggressions, which is and it's a bunch of like little racist things. I don't think they think Black people are beneath them. No. I just do think that there's just things that are like in their subconscious because of the people that were raised them and the people that raised them, you know. Like I just think it's just stuff, and but also when you have millions of dollars, you are just a different person.
Yeah.
Yo, I was literally saying this the other day about how the average human has not been evolved through evolutionary biology to have unlimited resources. Right. We evolved through scarcity. Right. Like there was literally, we had to do this to get that, this to get that. And when you have somebody who now is at a point where they have more money than they'll ever spend in their entire lifetime, their kids' lifetime, their grandkids' lifetime, it changes people. They just don't know how to react to that.
Yeah, absolutely. They don't know how to react to that. They need therapy.
That part.
Yeah.
They need therapy, but they don't know that they need therapy. They don't know that they have that problem within them.
And they let the fact that they have these near unlimited resources color how they judge their own intelligence. I've seen too many times. I've seen people take these super uber wealthy people. Well, he must be a genius because he made a lot of money. You do realize there's compartmentalized knowledge, right? Yeah. Where it just so happens that this particular thing you are good at is marketable. There's a huge demand for it.
There's also such thing as inheritance.
That part, but it does not mean that if I get hit in the head with a baseball, and a cracked skull, I want you doing brain surgery on me simply because you had no.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly, and that's exactly what it is.
What up, Ron?
But I just want to tell you all the stuff that I've been through before I get into So I would have cocktail classes. I had about I think I had 3 of them. Every time over like sold out. The last one that I had sold so many tickets, we had to take cash at the door. Like that's crazy. And we had to make other tables for them. It sold so much. I would buy all the gifts for everybody out of my own bank account. I would buy the gifts. I would even like when we had tastings, if they didn't have something in the restaurant, I would buy it. I garnished some of these menu items that was on like for like the summer, like the hot Q. We had this drink called the hot Q that I made. I would buy with my own money the garnishment, which was a Jello shot. I would purchase things for the bar. Rimmers. They didn't give us a rimmer. If you don't know what a rimmer is, so you have margarita, you need the salt. It's a like a contraption, basically. It has the lime juice and the salt and the sugar and all that.
Oh,
and
shit.
You run the glass.
Totally not what I thought a rimmer was.
Shut the hell up.
Good.
Stop
what?
it.
What?
Stop
it.
Stop.
It wasn't.
But anyway. So I had to bring my own in because they wouldn't buy us one. And I asked every day for it. I had to buy my own. And I had to buy, so we had a dehydrator that was just sitting there. I'm pretty sure it was thousands, so probably hundreds, whatever. But they wouldn't get me a cord to plug it in. So I had to buy that. I had to buy
Wait a minute. They wouldn't get you a cord.
A cord. I asked for it. I went and bought my own. I bought I would buy picks. I would buy pens. I would buy bitters. Like the bitters that go into old fashioned.
No,
They wouldn't buy them. I would buy them.
I don't understand that though.
Yeah.
I don't
So
understand it.
that when I finally got help, like a bar manager, then that's when I would get stuff like that. Because and then I would get it sent to the restaurant because I know you're not supposed to bring stuff from. I don't know the laws on it, but I don't think you're supposed to bring stuff from your house to a restaurant. That's kind of unsanitary. So I would get it sent to the restaurant. Like it was crazy. I would
That's
just buy
insane.
all this stuff, right? I would work off the clock. If I remembered something and I knew it had to get done and I was already clocked out, I would just go back and do it until they put out a post that said we can't do that anymore. That's what I would do. I would just work off the clock.
That's a level of commitment to a place and investment into a place, and it sucks when that don't work out the way it's supposed to. And they don't respect it.
Cared about them. I did. I wanted them to succeed, and I just kept doing stuff like that. Another thing that they did, right? They would have me set up the bar and take customers at the same time when the bar was finally built. So remember I said that. Remember I said I was working from bar carts and tables. So around September of 2023, I believe they decided they would build a bar. So I was working from the barista counter for a couple months, and then they gave me a big bar, and I finally had customers. So instead of, I don't, in most bars, you have an hour at least before you have customers to set the bar up, to get ice, to get anything that you are missing, to stock, to get your bar ready, to clean, to put stuff on the tables like flowers or utensils or anything like that. I didn't have any time. When I came in at 9, I had to serve customers, even if I didn't have ice, even if I didn't have sour mix, even if I didn't have anything. I had to serve customers. If a customer came and said they wanted a Bloody Mary, they would have to wait at least 20 minutes because I didn't have anything yet. And I told them over again, like, I need time, at least 45 minutes to set up the bar, like any other bar in America. Like any other bar in America. I need to repeat that. There is no bar. If you walk up to a bartender right now in any bar and say, how long do you have to set up the bar? They would give you at least an hour that they have.
Yeah, I've worked in restaurants. They had bars in there. Yep.
This was the only place I had no time. And I kept telling them, I know that they had no idea how to run a bar. And I was trying to tell them how to run it. And they wouldn't listen at all. And it would get me.
Right.
And that's actually how I got my final. Because I was setting up the bar. And they didn't like how I didn't put the utensils on the table in the time that they wanted me to. And I went and asked the managers basically if I could. No, I told the managers I was going to get more alcohol because we had a party. And that's how I got my last final, but I'll get into that. The managers, oh, no, I will be the only one that sorted wine. So wine only has 5 days. So when you open a bottle of wine, just drink it. Don't go sitting it in your cupboard. Don't be like, this is expensive. No, you open that bottle of wine.
But it's already fermented.
Yeah. No, the thing about wine is it's kind of fresh. Like it's made from yeast and grapes. You're gonna want to, like, as soon as you crack that seal, it's only 5 glasses in there. Just drink it. You only have 5 days until the oxygen starts turning everything that's in that bottle. Okay, so we had to throw all the red wine away. White wine you can get away with a little bit longer, but red wine we had to start throwing away. I was the only one who was doing this because I taught the ones before but they didn't give me proper training. I wrote an entire training manual that they didn't use. But because I couldn't train the ones that were coming in, all of that old wine was just sitting there until I threw it out. If I didn't throw it out, people was getting old wine. And right now, I guarantee they're getting served old wine. Guarantee, because they don't even know. I just taught one of the young ladies the last week. She said, "No one ever taught me this." I said, "Because they didn't let me train you." That's what I said.
It's crazy because this is when a company will cut its nose to spite its face. Now it's bad enough
Spider
they did
face.
not listen. It's a spider face.
Right.
It's bad enough they didn't listen, right? But there's a consequence to not listening. The consequence is the person with the experience that knows the shit, that's literally been covering your ass so that you didn't have all of this stuff that should be coming to you for not doing this right. They're gone. And none of you are going to pick up on any of that, right? So that means all those consequences that one person held at bay all this time, you about to get all of that.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I thought too. So I was like, oh my God, everything that I was not
everything.
They're gonna feel it. So not one person there that I talked to was happy about working there. Not one person. And it's very important for people to be happy at work. I mean, it really is.
It is.
That matters.
It's very important. It really matters.
Unfortunately, most people aren't. Most people aren't happy.
No, that's true.
But it is important. I wish supervisors, managers, all these other people actually factored that into their thinking.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of people out here miserable. They miserable with shit, but they can't go nowhere because this pays the bills. They got kids to take care of.
Yeah. There's a perceptible effect when you're not happy.
Facts.
Yeah, exactly. That is so crazy. Yeah, just thinking about it, like, you okay with people being miserable? Right. I remember I told the manager, I said, people are miserable here. And he said, they always complain about something.
Bro, you just told him, yo, that sound like that senator this week when they said, if you cut these Medicaid or Medicare benefits, people will die. She said, well, we all die. That's what that sounds like right there.
Yep, that's exactly what it was. Wow. He was like, they always got something to complain about. Like, why don't you give them less to complain about? People really complain, but give them less.
I think you hit the nail on the head with that part. Like, yes, people are always going to have something to complain about, but all of it doesn't have to be the job. Right. Like, if I go into the job, sure, my life out here may got some shit in there that I ain't figured out and it's fucked up and all that. But when I come in here, it shouldn't be like that, especially if you actually gave a fuck about the workers.
Yeah. That part.
Again, you get more quality work from workers that are happy to be there. Then, I don't know, say that as many times as if you are someone who owns a business or is a supervisor or a manager, and you come across this episode, say that as many times as necessary for you to understand that shit. You get a better quality of work. The reason why when I was a supervisor at Phillips, that we always passed every state inspection. We always did it because I gave my people grace. I gave them grace. Lunch breaks will be 15 minutes. We overnight. I would give them 2 hours. Go, chill. Just make sure my shit is clean by the end of the evening when QA and them come in. That's all you gotta do. I got you. Now I know the managers wouldn't like that shit. Right. Fuck them. Look at the quality of work I'm getting.
Make sure the work done. You don't got shit to say to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. So you working at Phillips, you already know that you had some time to set up the bar.
Well, see, no, I worked at the manufacturing warehouse.
Okay.
Yeah, on 4th Avenue. That's where I worked at.
Okay, not the restaurant.
So they ain't have, none of that. Yeah. But the point still stands. I worked at Chi-Chi's years. That's my first job, actually, was at Chi-Chi's down at, used to be at the Harbor, right? I worked at numerous restaurants, from steakhouses, all of that when I was younger, right? It's the same shit.
Yeah.
It's the same shit.
It's all the same.
Chi-Chi's at the Harbor. You old as fuck.
Shut up.
Oh, my bad.
Shut up.
I was thinking that, but I wasn't going to say it.
Shut up.
Gigi, calm down.
They ain't been in the
Chi-Chi's
harbor
at the
in
harbor.
years.
What?
I'm just saying it was near the inner harbor.
Oh my goodness. So,
Yo, Chi-Chi's is, I don't think, is it still around?
No.
no.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think in Baltimore.
No.
I don't think they exist.
Yo, I was 16.
No.
I think they're gone, period. I was 16. That was my
So-
first, well, actually, 16. That was my first official job.
Yikes.
So
Right.
80 years ago?
And I would say 800 years. I've never been good at math. But you gonna do the math.
You had to. Okay. Oh my goodness. Hold on. I'm sorry. Let me answer this. I love you, Gigi. I'm not sure who this is, but I'm pretty sure it's somebody from Kneads.
Bro.
Ryan says it's like customer service is tough, but that with a group of inebriated customers, some crazies out here. Yeah, like I can just imagine
Yo,
what
G
that's
said,
like.
so Tim used to work there when we went to the moon?
Shit before that. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Yo, it's bad because at that same time, like they had the Chi-Chi's restaurant had these double doors that opened up into the UA movie theater that they eventually closed down because it was too much violence.
Bro, the
Motherfuckers was getting shot in there. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. But every time I went to the movies, nothing ever happened. But you would hear about it later. Like somebody got shot down UA theater.
Not
What?
UA Theater too. What are you even talking about?
Just
let him
not real
ramble.
places.
But let me I'm
Chi-Chi's.
sorry. Let me recollect. Okay, so Tim is funny. So yes, so I was working 2 years. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it was still being toxic. Everything was still toxic, but I didn't notice anymore after a while because I was used to it. I would say things prior, like maybe 6 months ago, I stopped. I would say a lot. I showed Kristen all my paragraphs I was sending to them about how they could run it better and like just.
They ain't read that shit.
Oh, they would read it because they would be mad. And the managers had leads that would talk bad about people. And the people would find out and they wouldn't do that.
Oh my
they wouldn't do their job correctly. And I'm like, how can you expect them to do their job correctly? You would just dragging them.
You were just talking shit.
It's so crazy. And
you know they only do that because they realize they have a certain amount of power there at somebody's livelihood. Mm-hmm. Like if we was in high school, you'd be fresh out of my locker. Like you would not have said that shit. Like I can't stand that shit.
That is so true. They know they have power and they abuse it.
Yeah.
That's why certain people cannot be in charge.
Yeah, facts.
It's crazy. Everybody cannot be in charge. They go to their head.
That's facts.
But that was another problem we was having. The power was going to people's head. So, let me sip my Hennessy.
Facts.
Just make sure y'all go out and buy y'all Hennessy.
Sure, I got a bottle downstairs.
Listen, I support Black-owned businesses, but I support Hennessy. And
that's funny.
That's a Black-owned brand in my eyes.
That's funny.
But anyway, so
hold up,
what was I
Jada.
going to say?
Naga says, yes, it's me, Fen. I'm really enjoying the live. Keep speaking up about Kneads. One of the most toxic jobs in Baltimore. The people I had the privilege to meet and make friends made it worth the experience.
One of the most, one of the most toxic jobs in BMO. And we just started the episode talking about
That's
crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's been love them. Finn was a barista. Yeah, they treated them terribly. also. I have collected so many people since I started talking out. I've collected so many responses and comments and messages that people that still work there. They've messaged me because they don't want their name out. But
of course.
other people, oh my god, it's just so many people
familiar.
and it's just so much love. Let me just get into why I don't work there anymore. So they came to me last Saturday. When I started working, mind you, the person that was working there, he told them he wasn't coming in. And I told them that he wasn't coming in. So they basically begged him to come in, I guess. And he was there. So I came. I said, "Oh, I'm glad you came in." And he was like, "Yeah, I told him I was going to come in." I found out later because management walked up to me and he was just looking so sad. And I was just like, what's going on with him? Like in my brain. And he said, "Gina, can I talk to you upstairs?" Go upstairs. I get to the elevator. He said, "I'm going to take the stairs," which is not normal because me and him are known to key in the elevator. And I knew, my heart dropped because I knew something was wrong. I got in the elevator, get upstairs. I get in the manager, like the HR office. The young lady, a manager, she had seen me earlier and she was so sad. And she was like, "Hi, Gigi," like that. That's how she sounded.
Oh, you know what that's about.
Yeah. So they both looked distraught. And it's nothing against, and I'll say their names, Josh and Lacey. It's nothing against them because I know they did not want to do this.
Right.
They were following the rules, basically.
Yeah.
They were following what somebody else said. They was like, well, you got a customer complaint, and because you're on your final, she said it so fast, you're terminated.
That just sucks.
And I was just like, and I sat there and I said, what?
How long have you been there again?
2 years. I started with them. So they opened March 2023. Yeah, I opened the bar.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I said, what? And she said, and I said, first of all, you can go on the reviews. You can go on the reviews on these.
Oh, you could
I
definitely
have
go on the
so
reviews.
many positive reviews. Even when I Googled Kneads reviews, there is a website that popped up and it had my name as the bartender.
Oh, damn.
It was AI generated.
Right.
Damn.
So
that's how many reviews. Yeah.
That's how many reviews I had.
Damn.
And she was just like, "Yeah, you had a customer complaint. If someone said you was inattentive, show me. Where is it? Where's the review?
So
if I'm getting fired over it, why aren't you showing me?"
You see it,
for a counterpoint of this, Gina will go hours without responding to us because she be at that working with them people.
Yeah.
Fuck you mean inattentive?
Yeah.
Inattentive. She said it was being
no way.
I'd have told him I'd have asked him to spell it. Like, spell that shit.
So I said, "What?" I just kept repeating, "What?" And she was just like, "Yeah, you can email the HR. You can email HR." You didn't even have it in front of me. You could have had the decency to show me what this was. Say, "Oh, you was already on your final." The final that I already wrote a rebuttal for, that HR said they were going to talk to me about, and they never spoke to me about it. I wrote a rebuttal because, like I said, they wanted me to set up the bar and the time that they wanted me to. There's no, it doesn't say it in the handbook. There is no time to set up the bar. There was no time that they told me when I had to have the plates or
they was just piling on shit.
Yes, out there. There's no time. And they said I went upstairs and didn't tell them that I was going upstairs. I told the entire manager table that I was going upstairs because we had a party, and the AGM said okay. She looked at me and said okay. The only thing is I can't prove it, and neither can them. They can't prove it.
Right.
And I feel like if you're going to play with someone's livelihood, you should be able to prove while you're firing and terminating them.
See,
The only
that's
problem
fucked
is,
up, man.
the only problem is with Maryland is an at-will state.
Yeah, that's one of the big, and a lot of states are like that now. That's really one of the biggest things they got off. That's so anti-worker that they tried to disguise it like it's pro-worker. Yeah. Because they say, oh, that means you can quit at any time. But you know goddamn well that if you don't put your 2 weeks in, you're not going to be able to use that place as a reference. And then you got to account for the amount of time that you wasn't working according to what you could use. That whole thing is a scam. It was a big scam, and it was based off of narrative, like a narrative about if we just word it this way, we can get people to think, oh, this is benefit. No, that shit did not. They should be made to have to tell you why and show you why.
They have to. Yeah, they should.
Got you up out of there. You know?
Absolutely. And I was just, so I sat, they told me, they had the paper and they said, you can sign it. I sat like it was a movie. I just sat and I stared at it. And I said, y'all going to fire me? And my dad just died. And they was silent. And I could hear that I could hear the excruciating pain that they was. like I said, I knew it wasn't there. It's not there. But it's just like, I just was shocked. And I just bust out crying. And then I got up. I didn't sign it. She said, oh, I shouldn't say this part. I want to. She said, you don't have to sign it. She's not supposed to say that. But she, at that point, didn't know what to do.
Right.
So I knew that.
Yeah.
I didn't sign it. I didn't sign the last final because I didn't agree with it. Right. So I just walked away. I got my stuff. I came back later because I left money there. I went and got my stuff. I got my cord for the dehydrator.
I would have
wrapped that up.
I would have wrapped that son bitch up. At first, I'd have wrapped it around somebody's neck, and then I took that shit and got up out of there.
I took everything. I gave them that badge back, and I took the love that I put into that place. Absolutely. I took everything. I took my energy. I took everything, and I said, I hugged a lot of people. And so many people messaged me and said how mad they were. Finn being one of them. Like a lot of people were so mad, and they hugged me. Even the manager that fired me hugged me. She said, "You know, it's not personal." And I said, "I know it's not personal between you and me."
They made it do it. They made it do it. I'm telling you, that's really one of the worst things when you're in a position of some authority on the job, because I've had to fire people because management said. Like there's one situation, it was now me and this girl, we had worked at this place together starting as temps, right? And it just we got made permanent, and I moved on to become a supervisor. She still was an employee, right? So this was the dumbest shit ever, but they was already mad at her anyway, right? So she overlooked something in the test kitchen, and it didn't get cleaned. But it can happen, right? It's one of the small little whatever, right? Not only did she miss it, though, I missed it too when I came over there to check behind the workers. I missed it too. So I get hit up when I come in, we getting rid of such and such. I said, for what? I said, because test kitchen, it was when the QA came in, this thing was blah, 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 blah. So they had me walk her to the little conference room with my manager. And my manager was going over the things about her, and they used that last thing as the nail in the coffin. And I said, well, hold up. I missed it too. I checked it. I checked everybody's work, and I missed that too. So why is she getting fired if the supervisor missed it? Because that's one of my purposes was to check to make sure something was wrong. They go back before QA comes in there. So why is she getting penalized? I'm the supervisor. I told her it was cool. But that's good. Go ahead. They weren't trying to hit it because they wanted her out of there anyway. This ass. This way.
That's crazy. And that's how my manager. I think that's exactly what happened. I don't know if they tried to fight for me. I know that Kelsey, the manager, she came back. She had no idea. I'm pretty sure it's two Joshes. The other Josh, he had no idea. They didn't tell them anything. The one person that I know, and I won't say her name, she knows who she is. I know she knew because she would not speak to me the day before.
Bruh.
And we
That's
always
crazy.
say hi to each other. And I walked in, I said hi, and she turned away. She turned
So
away
wait a
2
minute.
times.
You didn't pick up like that would have been weird for me.
That was weird, but I never thought that they would fire me.
Right.
I'd have hit her with a shoe.
Never in a million years. And I should have known that they would treat me bad because they're treating everybody else bad. So why did I think I was exempt? I don't know. But they hired a young lady, right? And she was she's spicy. They ended up firing her because she was late. I was so upset that she was fired because she was the only person that was helping me.
Right.
She was helping me stock because I was the only person stocking, filling things, prepping things, all that. She was helping me. So they fired her for being late. They don't have a late policy, by the way. They have one now, but the whole time they didn't have a late policy. So they were firing people, good employees, because they were late when the management was late too. Yeah. There was no policy.
Crazy.
Yeah, there's no late policy, and they had they have the handbook. They weren't following the handbook because if they followed the handbook, everybody would have been fired a long time ago. Except me, because I was never late.
It's one of the biggest, also biggest scams in right to work state. Employee handbooks are the biggest scams. The ones I used to get right in the front of it, it would say that management reserves the right to ignore all of this shit. So that means everything that you're about to read after this don't mean nothing.
Don't mean nothing.
Don't mean nothing.
But I have a story about that, but I'm going to tell about these first. But I have a story for that. So they like I said, they would have been fired before, but they fired her on a late policy that didn't exist. I fought for her to come back. A lot of people did. She was a great worker. She came back. They eventually made her a lead bartender with me, which this time it makes sense because there was other bartenders and she was helping me, and I was very excited about it. They didn't talk to me about it, which I should have known as the red flag, but I was excited. I was like, okay, I have help now. Somebody going to stock. Somebody going to do this. They basically put her into my position. And I think that was that was what they were trying to do the whole time.
Yep.
And the manager, and I'm about to be mean, I'm so sorry. The manager that I think orchestrated the whole thing. I don't know why, but we did not vibe at all. And it's something about white women that live in a hood with their black partner that I do not get along with. I'm so sorry.
I think
no comment.
I think it might be because there are those of them that take the wrong cues from the fact that they are in this relationship, living in these areas. They take the wrong cues from that, right? That's what it is. It just take the wrong cue, and they act a certain type of way, and they might, approach people with a tone that, bruh, that none of that's going to protect you from this. If you get out of line, if you get out of pocket, none of that. Your black boyfriend's not going to be able to protect you. We'll run his ass out the neighborhood too. like stop.
Here's the part that I'm about to be mean. I'm sorry. I feel like women should elevate you. So if you're still living in that way and he bring you down to his level, I feel like you ain't shit.
Hey, listen.
I'm so sorry, fan. I know that's your friend, but
why?
And it's not just her, it's all of them. Every last one of them. And Kristen know another one I do not get along with. I'm so sorry. I do not get along with them. I just don't. I don't know. It's like they want to be us. But they don't want to be us. They think that they are better than us.
Right. They take the wrong cues. The cue is, here's the cue. We all human, so fuck all that shit. That's the cue. And you want to keep that energy when you're in because the moment you turn the energy into because I'm this, I'm better than all of y'all that outnumber me here.
Yeah.
That's an issue.
Yeah.
That's an issue.
That's a mental health issue.
So
Yeah.
another thing she did, she befriended the other black manager that was there. And they were really cool. And the manager was telling her all types of stuff. Even told her when she got with the head chef and everything, she ended up firing her too. And the black manager was my friend also, and she would message me. She messaged me later, like, I really trusted her. Like, she turned on me.
Wow.
And a lot of the black servers, baristas, everything, they no longer trust her anymore because of that.
Yeah.
That lady, because like she really
That's
turned,
earned.
and now she turned on me. So, I mean, I can't say she turned on me. We never really,
rocked
like
with each
that.
other in the first place.
Wait, wasn't vibing. I knew the vibe. I saw the vibe already. I did,
Right.
and like I said, she didn't speak to me, and she finally said hi to me when I cornered her because I was like, "Hi," like, and she said, "Hi."
Yo.
Yeah.
I had to be like, keep your fucking high. I had to do all that to get a high from you.
Right. That part.
Put that,
But now
put that high
I
back
knew.
in your pocket.
Yes, she was the only one who knew I was about to be fired. She didn't tell the rest of them. She was the only one.
Shit, she had a drink to that. Like, she about to get up out of here. Let me get some of this. Let me get some of this Hennessy.
That's hilarious. That is hilarious.
But this next part is all alleged. I cannot say confirm if it's true or not.
All right.
The owner kept talking about labor costs. So I think a couple other bartenders was about to leave too. They took the evening bartenders away, and now the management had to be bartender for the night. So I got off at 4 or 5, and then we were open for another 2 hours. And a bartender would come in around. Sometimes they would come in around 11, then they would come around 2. One bartender in particular came in at 4 and worked the rest of the 3 hours or whatever. He didn't want that anymore. He said, "Take that out." It was just supposed to be me on Tuesday through Friday. I think he couldn't afford to pay 2 leads. He got rid of the one who they said messed up first. The fake mess up.
Yeah.
I did not mess up.
Yeah.
So yeah, he couldn't afford me anymore. That's what it was. Because we were getting paid more than everybody on the floor.
Right.
So what was the problem with him saying that?
Exactly.
That's what I want to know. Why try to defame or denigrate your service? Yeah. Why go that route and say, look, we can't afford.
Yeah.
And it still would suck, and you still would feel away, but it wouldn't feel like this. Like when you point it's like they point fingers, make accusations. That's it. That's it.
They gaslit me, basically. Yeah. Because I already saw your email.
Right.
Right.
They don't know that I had the inside. I'm not supposed to have the inside information. But
that's what it is for.
Yeah, it wasn't my fault. You left it there.
Yeah. So crazy.
But yeah. So they couldn't afford me anymore, and that's what I think happened. And because I'm trying to think, I racked my brain about what customer could have messaged, and I remember older white lady came to the bar. I believe I gave her water and a menu. I was not the only bartender there. I thought someone else was going to take her because I was talking to a black couple. And I don't think this lady was happy with me talking to this couple. I'm not saying because they were black.
Right.
I'm saying I think she wanted her service there and now. She was not there that long. She ended up getting up. And I said to the other bartender, I said, "Did you wait on that young lady?" And she said, I call everybody young lady, even if they old. I do. She was old. I said, "Did you wait on a young lady?" And he was like, he or she, I can't remember. I think it was he. No, it's probably she. I can't remember. Like I said, this person was not important because I take care of my customers. So I didn't understand. I don't understand. But anyway, they said, no, I literally leave the bar, follow this customer, but she was already out the door. I was going to go ask her if she needed help.
Right.
So if that was the customer, if they would have talked to me, I would have told her I was talking to another customer. But also roll the camera. If you really
Yeah,
want to fire
That
somebody,
part.
yeah.
where's the camera at?
But see, that's how you know. Also, it wasn't about that. That was an
Yeah,
excuse. That was an excuse.
absolutely. And another part that I'm just like, that's weird. One of the managers lied on me, and the managers would lie a lot. Like one of the managers, he was just like, well, "Yeah, you can open the bar at like 8:30, and you don't have any customers, right? And then you can serve at 9." He told me that, but he did not tell the rest of the staff that.
Oh man.
So one day I came in and I told them that's what he said. He told them literally, and I have a voice recording of him saying that because I had to start recording him because that's how much he lied. And he told them that he didn't say that. That's why we got to have each other black.
Oh no.
Yeah, bro.
We got to have each other black. She showed me the text messages in the manager chat, and he was lying on me.
Yo.
Yeah. So I was just like, "Are you serious?" So me and him was cool on that. I was cool on him, okay. But I
Managers
did.
lie.
But I couldn't tell him, because I didn't want to get her in trouble. So I just knew. So I left that day. That was another reason I got rolled up. I walked out because you just sat there and lied on me when I have you voice recorded.
Basically.
And they didn't know I had a voice recorded, and you can't use that.
Yeah,
because
you
you recording somebody illegally.
illegal.
But I know.
You can use it in the streets.
Yeah.
Use it in the streets.
Listen.
I don't work here no more, motherfucker. I got this shit here. I know you was up there talking that shit. Like,
yes.
You had shit in the street.
Just sitting there talking. The lead was talking about me, but I don't mind people talking about me because I know that I'm doing something right. So another manager that lied to me, they lied on me. The other second lead bartender, she got into it with another one of the bartenders, and I got along with all the bartenders. She got into it with one of the bartenders, and I was advocating for both of them. Like, hey, they need to talk. They need to sit down and talk, right?
Right.
The next day after I had that conversation with the manager, it's like, hey, this is what he told me. I don't know what she said yet, but this is what he told me, and I think they just need to talk. I mind you, and I'm going to say this very graphically, I was minding my business at the bar when the manager came over to me and said, hey, can I speak to you? She took me outside and spoke to me, and that's what I said. The next day, the bartender went up. I told her, hey, you need to talk to the manager and you need to talk to the bartender because y'all like losing shifts because y'all can't work together. She go upstairs. She come down very quietly after talking to the management. And I said, what happened? She said, well, she said that you advocated for him. Yes, I said I advocated for both of you.
Yeah, right.
And she said that you went upstairs and pleaded his case. I did what? I said,
yo,
I want you to listen to me. That's my name, Kate. I said, I want you to listen to me. I never went upstairs and I never went and told anybody anything. She pulled me outside. I said, roll the camera. Roll the camera. And I said, I cannot believe this person lied and said that I went upstairs and initiated the conversation.
You went upstairs and was like, look,
she
fuck
pulled
this
me outside.
Fuck this other one. Fuck this other one. Because I don't really rock with that. But this one right here, that's what she basically said you did. That's
basically.
Crazy.
And
that's
I said,
crazy.
I said, so the manager came down and I was with Kate. And I said, I just want you to know that if I was holding these two over a mountain, I would drop him and keep Kate. Like, what are you talking about?
Yo.
And I have no problem with this person. I love the other bartender. Like, I just don't know him like I know Kate. I fought for Kate to come back. Like, what are you talking about? Right. I'm not advocating
they
for
try
this
to
person.
make you the bad guy. They try to make you the bad guy.
Yeah, they tried to make me the bad guy. And she was like, well, this manager And this manager said, hold on, how did that manager even get into it? I never saw her that whole day.
Wow.
And it was the same manager that did not smile at and say hi to me.
Yo.
So she was making up stuff.
Yeah.
That she wasn't even there. She wasn't even there the whole day.
Bro.
Like, that's the kind of stuff
that feels personal.
Yeah,
Yes.
That feels personal. Like
absolutely.
She had it out for you.
It's the kind of stuff that everybody was going through there. But yes, they terminated me. Luckily, I did not go through any bad pay stuff like everybody else went through. Some people they didn't get their benefits. Okay, I will say I didn't get my benefits. That I did turn them in, but I never received them. I turned in the application, never received them.
That's not cool.
A lot of people had that problem. One of the pizza cooks, they left because they couldn't get in their pay stubs or something like that. A lot of people, I guess, had like paycheck issues. Like this one lady, she was supposed to get more money because she was working at night. The manager kept saying she was going to get more money and she never got it. And then she ended up just walking out. Another young man, he was supposed to get a check for all the missed time that he, this is all the stuff people were telling me. He was supposed to get a check for the missed time, the missed money that they didn't give him on his previous checks.
Yeah.
He's supposed to get a separate check. They did this to me too, but I did get my separate check.
Right.
He didn't get his. I was talking to him upstairs and he was just like, what would you do if you just keep talking to people and they're not listening? And I said, some people, maybe they don't understand what you're saying. I said, some people are neurodivergent. I just go into this whole spiel, right? I'm just talking about, I said, some people are just neurodivergent. And sometimes they don't understand what you're saying. Maybe try to say it in a different way.
That is
After
hilarious.
I talked to him, this man go downstairs, go into the kitchen, and there was something called watermelon salad that we have. Sorry, it was in a bin. It was very watery, but it was delicious. He flipped the entire bin in the kitchen and ruined, like basically stopped service for a couple hours.
Wow.
Because they wasn't paying him his money, and he kept telling them about it. And I'm sitting here having a calm conversation with him 10 minutes earlier. I said, now what is it that I said that made you want to go downstairs?
Right.
I told him say it in a different way, and he did.
Right.
He did. And that's not what I was talking about.
Yo, that is insane. That is insane.
I want to read one of the comments from a young lady that I had no idea was.
Is she old? Because she's
not old. I'm older than. Like I say, I'm older than most people there.
Everybody young lady.
Young lady, so I figured.
Oh yeah, no, I see what you mean. No. She was working there.
Oh.
So, I'm sick of you. I only call customers young lady and young man. It makes them feel good and they tip better.
Hey.
I wouldn't. I'd be mad. Like, don't stop playing with me. You know how my back feel right now? Stop playing with me.
The men, you know what? The men, they would say, I am not young, but the young lady, the women, they like that.
They love it. They eat it up.
Yeah. Tim, though, in everybody's defense, so many people be like, he's how old? He don't look like he that old.
You don't act that old either.
Yeah, you're an old man.
I have arrested development.
Yeah, he's an old man.
I have arrested development. That's all it is.
We drinking later. Here you go with these shots.
Hennessy.
It don't matter. She can drink. She don't got nothing.
Hennessy and Wick Drink.
And moon juice. And moon juice.
Okay, so I'm gonna read her comment. They better start counting their days there. Matthew Schnack, I don't know how to say his name. I love him. I'm sorry. Wannabe pastry manager discriminated me of pregnancy. He refused me to come back to work knowing I was on paperwork. I emailed everyone. They could have cared less, honestly. I was an outcast on the team. Owners, including him, could have cared less. I was pregnant and working. I'll never forget, I asked Matthew to help me refill the bin for sugar. He looked at me with annoyance and said, "Why can't you do it?" I looked at him in disbelief and said, "I'm pregnant. What do you mean?" He was the only man, little boy, available to look for it to help me. The rest of the team were doing other things that needed to be done. Mind you, these bags of sugar are 50 pounds. Yeah, they're very, very heavy. And I was just about 8.5 months pregnant.
No, that's crazy. That is crazy.
She was visibly pregnant, y'all.
She about to pop, and you like, why can't you do
it? You got a goddamn beach balloon.
Yes.
You must pick up that 50-pound. What?
Okay, I feel you, Gigi. You never know what someone is going through, and you were going through a lot. By the way, my mother, my father-in-law, and my father all passed away while I was working at this job. And I came to work. My mother was dying in the hospital. And what was I doing, Kristen? I was going to work.
Oh, man.
And my mother died. I took 3 days off. No, I took a week off because I had the time. And I went back to work. Yeah. And I worked. I worked through my father passing. I worked through my father-in-law passing. I went to work because I cared about them.
That's the shit. That's the shit that would really piss me. Like, again, you get better service from your employees. Mm-hmm. They're happy to be there. That's all. Like some of this shit is just human shit.
Yeah,
it's not
human. Exactly,
it's human shit.
Yeah. You know? Yes. Another part of her comment: my heart and prayers go out to you for your losses and the time you wasted on this company. Your hard working energy on a company that could care less about anybody, including us Black women, unless people kiss and ask for real. But yet they want to be different. The lies they tell and the favoritism that is played day in and day out in that building. If only all the customers knew how things were ran in the back in the day, same now, and how unorganized and discombobulated things really are. From having to wash our own dishes to being noticed about an event or catering order last minute. They would tell me about parties probably 30 minutes before they was about to happen.
Oh no, hell no. That's seriously crazy.
Yeah, it got better with the newer management, but
how does that even work?
Yeah, I know.
Like, what do you mean?
Like I said,
she gotta go to Party City. She gotta go to Party City and get some
exactly.
And some streamers.
No, I would just order stuff from Michael's and I would have it delivered.
There you go.
Yeah.
She had to go to Hobby Lobby and get some shit. The fuck? 30 minutes?
That's that. Yeah, that was back.
That's irresponsible.
That's why one of my write-ups. They told me that day we had a party, so I had to go get liquor. Yeah. Anyway, like you said,
crazy.
Yes, like you said, Gigi, our ancestors showed us it was time to go, and we should have listened from the jump. Mind you, people who've been let go or are wrongfully fired, these are people who've been with the company since they first opened. As much talent there is working for these people who don't care, y'all better start working for yourselves full time. These jobs don't deserve you. I love you, Gigi. That is so beautiful. Mm-hmm. And another person wrote, a lot of people wrote a lot of stuff, but I just wanted to read the people that was talking about the company. So sorry. I worked there in 2023 as well, and that place was a shit show. The only way to stay is to kiss ass and be fine with being treated like less than the entire environment. The environment was toxic. I'm sending my love. Yeah,
you're getting treated less than the entire environment. So
that's means wild.
You are less than the dirty bar rag. That is that's crazy.
You are less than the backwash that happened to settle in the glass of the last two customers that came.
You are less than the paper straw that is now wet and discarded in the trash.
That's crazy.
Oh God.
That's
okay.
Wild.
I have more. All right. Y'all so stupid.
That's wild.
Okay. Poor management. It was a new
No
sous
shit.
chef every 6 months. Low pay, lack of hours will give you 25 hours a week. You're part of an experiment. No management really knows what's going on. They really didn't. That's why they was like shocked that they had to fire me. The
Wow.
higher management that has never worked in the industry, they never worked in the industry. That's very important.
Yo, there are
They
so many
the owners
parallels.
were bakers. They opened a restaurant. They had no idea. They scammed. They scammed me out of healthcare, and their doctors aren't even in
Yo,
the area.
The doctors aren't. So the insurance they had. Let me see if I understand this. The insurance they supposedly had for
was a
you.
local Idaho.
Yeah, this is alleged because I can't prove
it was a local Idaho conglomerate. Like,
all
what?
the doctors was in Idaho and shit. They had
Yes.
fucking potatoes in the fucking waiting room and shit. What the
Yes.
fuck?
Yes. Another
That's
one,
crazy.
Kneads had good benefits, but poor management, terrible communication between departments. The owners love to change things without telling the staff. No free meals, no raises. Oh, by the way,
No
we
free
used to,
meals?
so we had to pay 20 when we first started, 20% off our meals. And then we get they started stealing. I never stole. But people were stealing. They started stealing, and the manager was like, "All right, all these people stealing. Let me give them 50% off. I won't tell the owners, but I'll give them 50% off." Right? They got 50% off. He left. That manager. They ended up being like, "All right, we can do free meals." They gave him free meals. The the employees started stealing through the free meals. I never did it. They would do say what was it? It was like a breakfast sandwich, a croissant breakfast sandwich. They would write croissant breakfast sandwich, add bacon, ham. You only get the egg and the cheese, but they
Bruh.
were like add bacon,
I need
ham,
some turkey on this
sausage,
shit. You
shrimp,
got some
side
lamb?
shrimp and grits.
You got some lamb in there? Put that shit on there too.
Some
Like
lobster.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So y'all get the hit. So I think one of the days it came up and the chefs they looked at it and they all crowded around this one ticket and the server was like they crowded around my ticket. All I did was put extra bacon.
Yeah, that's all.
I said you're not supposed to do that. I would tell them what's right and wrong, and I would tell them I would not ever do anything. Mind you, that person's still there.
Of course.
So
hold up. GA said they said local doctors. No, we only see practitioners in the shadow realm. No. It's not a banishment.
Exactly. So they so after that happened, they took the free meals away from everybody. It was back to 50%.
Damn.
Off.
Yo, yeah. I'm appalled actually. Like, cause even as cheap as Phillips was, you can get a free meal. You work there out of their ass. Like, that's crazy.
Marriott would make a whole lunch for us. Like
Sizzlers. I worked at Sizzlers.
Yo, what is happening?
Back when I needed a job because I was going to court.
Sizzlers?
Yeah, they gone. I know. But it used to be one out Route 40. And I got the job there because I got in trouble and I needed one before I went to court and shit. They gave you free meals.
What kind of life did you live?
Tim, did you work at Shoney's?
No, but I remember them.
Did you work at Heck Company?
No, but I remember them. I remember.
You work at Hess? What about Hess?
I remember Hess.
Did you work at
Caldor?
I remember Caldor. Yo, I actually applied for a job that he wouldn't hire me.
Yo.
He wouldn't hire me.
Wait. You were old enough to work at Caldor?
Bro, right around the time when I needed
come
job,
on, bro.
because I was going to court, I was working at the Sizzlers. Westview Mall had a Caldor's. I wanted to work in the furniture department moving furniture. They was like, nah, fuck you. Yeah.
Oh, I have like two more. Okay, so Kneads. And I enjoyed my department.
Shut up, GA.
I enjoyed my department. Decent pay, PTO. I was overworked, undercompensated, and creepy managers and general disorganization of business. Yeah, creepy managers is definitely it's a cook right now that the managers have talked about that has been looking at baristas. Hold on, you know what? Inside scoop right here, right now. because managers have messaged me.
Oh.
Telling me about what's going on in that manager meeting. That's how well liked I am. Okay.
I mean, come on,
Wow.
In our managers meeting, I witnessed one occasion, and they were talking about a chef there. He stared at one of the baristas in an undressing sort of way too long. It was gross because he is double their age, just smiling and creeping.
Yeah.
A lot of women in the bakery have complained that he makes them uncomfortable, asking inappropriate questions. He even asked some really sexual, inappropriate questions to some of the male kitchen staff in regards to certain female employees. And that person is still working there.
Yo.
Yeah.
Of course, because we want to get rid of you.
Right.
Not
because they're paying me too much.
Not the potential predator that will inevitably set your whole company up for a lawsuit and shit.
Absolutely.
That's what's gonna happen.
And here's the last one. The last one I'm gonna read. They pay a ridiculous amount of money. They do. But it's hardly worth it for what they suck out of you.
Damn.
Yes, they'll talk a good talk, but in the end, they treat their employees like one of the many button pressing machine operators currently employed by the mother company. They have no respect or appreciate. The mother company is H&S Bakery, by the way. They have no respect or appreciation for the artisan craft. Artisan means how you made things back in the day, like the old school way of making something. They have no
experience. I was 16.
Yeah, basically.
I don't know. I don't know if you got that age
right, exactly. They have no experience in the hospitality side of the business. They are floundering in their attempts to be something worth the pretentious atmosphere they've cultivated.
Not getting poetic at the end.
So, what was I going to say?
They suck.
Besides that, I wanted to go back to the point that you made about the handbook and tell. I have a story to tell.
All right.
So your handbook actually does mean something, and don't think that it doesn't. Always read your handbook. I was fired. This is the only time I've ever been fired. Was at Kneads and Royal Farms. I got fired.
Worked at Royal Farms?
I worked at Royal Farms when
I'd still be working there. That chicken is like,
yo, I hate you so much. Did you say you got fired,
like
nigga?
20. I got fired. I would have
you
still
act
been
like
working
you
there.
left on purpose.
I got fired from Royal Farms. Racism.
You were racist?
So, I was not racist.
Oh, you said that. She said she got fired for racism.
That's not what happened.
I got fired because of racism.
Oh, okay.
So I 7-Eleven and Royal Farms have slushies. I think it's only called slushies at 7-Eleven.
No.
You cannot call Royal Farms stuff slushies. We're supposed to say something. But anyway.
Really?
7-Eleven is Slurpee. Not Slurpee.
Slurpee. That's what I was meant to say.
Yeah.
We both sell. I said we. I didn't work there in 20-something years. Royal Farms sells. I can't even remember what they're called theirs, but they're like a slushy thing that's icy. And 7-Eleven is Slurpee, but people would come in and say, "Can I have a Slurpee?"
Right.
Whatever.
Nobody gets it.
We have to correct them, but anyway, that's minor. You can't ring up a Slurpee. You can't. There's nothing to scan, and if it was, it would be too wet.
Right.
So we have a button, even 7-Eleven, they have a button in their system to press Slurpee. People would throw their change on the counter and leave. Show their Slurpee, throw their change in the counter and leave. And it was only a certain kind of person who did this.
Oh.
Because did not do this, right?
Right.
So there was a girl that was working with me. And she was pregnant, and she was just like, that's very important to the story. So she was pregnant. She said, I'm tired of these people throwing their money at me. I said, I know. She said, let's write a note instead of place your money in my hand. She wrote a note, and she gave me a note that said it. I put it on the counter. And when I tell you, these white people were so mad about this note. And they said, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Ain't nobody trying to touch y'all.
They were so terrified of touching us and putting money in our hand This was in Essex, by the way. Very racist.
Never mind. Well, yes.
Yeah. So I
Yes.
worked where the fork was where you basically in the middle. So like Dundalk was that way.
You caught
Essex
the
was
number
this
23.
way.
You caught
Middle
the number
River
23.
was that way.
Right.
On the Middle River and shit.
Absolutely. So I was in the middle of racism.
Yeah,
Right?
basically.
So
You was in the C and the E. Like it's all you was,
I was in the middle. So they got so mad. They ended up writing emails because that's what white people do. That's how I got fired for Kneads.
Wow.
White people will not say it in your face. That's why the thing about my black customers, they'll say it in my face, but they're not gonna write no.
Yeah.
They're not gonna write no email. They're not getting me in trouble, but they're gonna tell me
That's
in my face.
They're gonna tell you about yourself.
Yes,
I
white
think that's
people.
a cultural thing too.
Yes.
That's
Yes,
cultural thing.
black people. Yes, white people. They're gonna write a note and try
Black
to get you
people
fired.
do not have cut cards. If they paying money or they paying for service, black people gonna say it.
Immediately.
Yeah, right there.
It's immediately. They're
Right
not
there.
going. They don't typically write. They might write a review.
Yes.
But they're not going right to your corporate office. They're not going to do that.
Right.
From my experience,
they're gonna tell you.
So-
They're gonna tell you stink right there though. right there. Yo, what the fuck?
Some of the hardest customers I've had have been black.
Yes,
but they, to me, not to my boss about me.
Right.
That is what I care about.
Right.
So the white people, they wrote emails. They called me. Well, I came in and they was like, you can go home. You can go home.
Yo, that's crazy.
Yes.
Yo,
They emailed me because they had to touch me.
Ryan said no balls. I'm white and I agree with Gigi.
Yes. Nothing against, I have all type of friends.
Right,
but like nothing against. But so they wrote emails and then they were just like, Royal Farms was like, hey, we have to put you on suspension because of all these emails. So they called me like a week later. My white best friend, her name's Bethany. She
of course it is.
Messaged them and we worked together. She was like, hey, she needs to know what's going on. She takes care of her house. Like I was the only one paying rent at that time.
Yo.
So she was like, she needs to know what's going on. So they finally messaged me because of her. And was like, hey, did you put the note on the counter? The young lady was pregnant. She was a black mom, single mom. Her boyfriend was in jail. I didn't put the note on the counter, but I told them that I did because I did not want her to get fired.
Right.
Yeah.
And they fired me.
Damn.
I took them to court. I said, absolutely not.
And what Judge Judy say? What Judge Mathis say? What Judge Mathis?
Yeah, what do they think? What they gonna think about this? The supervisor of the district. It wasn't just my manager. My manager never showed up. It was the leader of the district that came.
He came in there with Johnny Cochran type lawyers and shit. Yes. Was like, listen, you're not losing this.
But the judge was black.
So when they told the whole story about all, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So they told us. I thought I was going to lose immediately. So I came in there, and he had so much. He had all these write-ups that I never seen. I never signed, never seen nothing.
They made that shit up. Ain't nobody trying to hit. They made all that up.
They had all this stuff. I mean, he had a folder. I knew I was going to lose. I said, I don't even know why I did this.
One time,
it's crazy. I wasted my time.
She took a chicken nugget and thought nobody saw it. Wrote it up. Like, what the fuck?
You know what's funny? I think they did have that. I think they said that. She took a cheat. I was broke. I stole. That's the one company I stole from. I ate. I had to eat. I was paid. When I tell me paycheck to paycheck,
yeah,
I was paycheck to paycheck.
And that's wrong. That's wrong as shit. You know, somebody got to work in there. Sometimes people get hungry. Y'all selling food, and this person is literally working with your product. You can give them a chicken wing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What's wrong with y'all?
And I took some stuff from there. I took fries.
Hey.
But they probably, they did say that. So, because they was watching me the whole time.
Yeah.
So,
but they were
was
supposed
like,
to say something about the write-up, though. Like, how they
right.
That's crazy.
So they said all this, right? And what I got fired for was putting a note on the counter. And when it was time for me to talk, I said, they're racist. I said, here's why I know they're racist. I have 2 white best friends, Corey and Sherry. I'm gonna say Corey. Corey, Sherry married. Sherry is black. Corey is my best friend, but Sherry's my sister. They're married, right? And then I have Bethany. She's white. Corey went to church with me. Bethany, I worked with Royal Farms. Corey was the Royal Farm manager. The district man that's with me right now would say racist stuff to Corey in the office.
Thinking that it was,
cool because Corey was white.
Yeah.
Corey would come out and tell me.
Of course.
I told them everything that he said to Corey.
Right.
His face was dropping at the moment.
Because he didn't know you knew.
Mm-hmm. That part. You gotta be careful when you say that.
Exactly.
Or don't.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So I said all that. I wish it was a movie. The judge face was going tighter and tighter and tighter.
Mad as shit. The judge got mad as shit.
She was mad. She was writing. She said, is there anything in the handbook that says that she shouldn't put a note on the counter? He said no. She said, and the plaintiffs.
Yo, which courthouse did you go to?
Oh God, this was
Wabash?
It had to be in Essex.
Okay.
Yeah, it was in Essex.
She done seen her. That judge has seen her fair share of bullshit out there.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? She's like, y'all do that. Y'all did it. Y'all be doing that.
Facts.
We know.
I did not work for a year after they paid me. I didn't work.
Of course.
Okay. What up, Paul?
What up, Paul? Yo, of course you didn't.
Your handbook does matter. That is a legally.
I can see where that matters. I can see.
A legally binding contract right there. Even if they said that, they still have to abide by something.
Facts.
Yeah, but that's all I had to say. What I wanted to also say is if you worked at Kneads and if you encountered some of the BS that we have counted, we are collecting the stories. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to give it to James, the email, the form, everything, and he's going to post it.
Question.
Yes.
Question. Are you gonna make a quilt out of each story? Like each story, like collect the stories.
Yo,
and you make like these little designs on the quilt. You know, like
I hate.
What? That's not a thing. That's not a thing. You saying that's not a thing?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I hate you. That's what I'm saying.
I can't tell you what's going to happen. Okay. I have things in the works, but I do want your story, just like these people have been sending their stories. Unprovoked, honestly.
Right.
Facts.
People only get one voice. Once they get the voice, they're like, oh.
That's it. Somebody stumbled across the podcast, and now I get messages from Divine.
That's literally what happened. Yes, we gotta take these people down because
facts.
They need to, and it's not even about taking them down. It's about treating people correctly. If they change their entire system,
I said that on here. Bingo. I said that on here. I said there was a point in time where I felt like the only acceptable outcome is divine closing.
That's because you was mad.
That's because I was mad. Mm-hmm. But after that conversation, I realized that I was between whether it was whether it was gross negligence or if it was malicious. Mm-hmm. After that conversation, I don't know if I was about to say something really bad. After that conversation, I no longer am confused about it. Now I know it's gross negligence. It's absolutely negligence. Right. So now I'm okay. I'm still okay with Devon shutting down. That's fine. That's still an option. Mm-hmm. But I'm also okay with her actually turning the ship around.
But in order to turn the ship around, you actually have to like steer the
something
wheel.
Has to happen, right?
Like you can't just say when the iceberg is right there and you headed to it. Like, you know what?
Hey, go a different way.
We're gonna pivot.
But you're the captain.
And then don't pivot.
Right. But you're the captain. Yeah, sure. Right. Just go a different way. You are the only one who is qualified to touch the wheel.
You're holding the wheel. Like what the fuck? Turn this son of a bitch.
Freaking people.
So it's crazy.
So
two, I guess.
Yes.
What you do this week?
My week was relatively uneventful, honestly. Now, last night we got all of these goddamn warnings about tornadoes and shit, right? And every time that fucking National Weather Service shit,
yo,
I gotta keep it a buck with y'all.
Annoying.
Bring that ass here. So it's one thing when you're trying to watch a show, right? And that motherfucker shuts everything off just to have that. All right, we needed to know it. Appreciate it. That's what I'm talking about. It's quite another thing when it literally is happening 5 times in a row and on your phone.
Nigga.
Look, you're not helping because here's the thing. If the tornado comes through and it takes our electricity out, I still won't get to watch the show.
That's facts. Yo, look at this shit. All of these emails.
Yo.
From yesterday.
Yo.
All of these emails.
Absurd.
What are we talking about? Every couple minutes, my phone vibrating. Oh, it's an email. Oh, who's emailing me? Oh, God damn it. 5 minutes later, another email.
What the fuck is happening? Yo, it's one of them things where it's like, I appreciate the heads up. Mm-hmm. But now you're fucking with my anxiety, which I never had before until my dad and my brother died in close proximity. I never had anxiety before until they died in close proximity. So now you fucking with that. So now what am I doing? Right. I'm on my computer and I got my phone over here and I got the radar. I have the fucking radar on the phone, checking it every so often because now you got my anxiety up. I went upstairs, told my mother-in-law, like, nah, you gotta come down.
Right.
You gotta come downstairs. So I got everybody down here. Because 5 times, like Booker T and shit, 5 times, they kept doing the shit. They kept doing it. Mm. Another thing, I'm trying to understand my son. But I'm trying to.
I mean, aren't we all?
He grown though. He like 30, right? He grown. So he comes downstairs.
Oh,
Gina!
It was the face like, wait, 30?
Yo, almost lost my mic. Yo, not the face.
Listen.
Not the face.
30.
That's a lot. That's a lot of age.
28. Go to 28. 30. He comes down here and goes, there's a wasp in my room.
What did I tell you?
Oh, throw the house away. No.
What did I tell you?
Listen. He said there's a wasp in my room.
I told you stop fucking with these.
I said, how did the wasp get in your room? Oh, because I had my window open and I don't have a screen on it. It's spring. Why do you have your window up and there's no screen? That's not the worst of it, though. He comes downstairs. I need some spray or something. He had like a book, a towel, and a floss water in his hand. It's just like, all that's going to do is get you stung. All that's going to do is get you stung, right? He comes, he says, well, you got some spray? I do have some spray, but this is outdoor spray. Now,
right.
If you're not familiar with outdoor spray, if you just squeeze that son bitch a little bit, it's like a hose that comes out. You don't want to spray that in your room. Now, there is ways to use it so that you can kind of, but even then, that's for emergencies. That's if the wasp comes in and it's the size of your cat. All right. Oh, okay. Fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, do what you're going to do. But the part that I found funny is I gave him the spray. He goes upstairs. I go out the back and walk around because I want to see in his window. He had closed his window. So I'm trying to figure it out. You had the window open, which allowed the wasp to come in the first place. But then once the wasp is in, you close the window. You close him.
He didn't want more wasps to come in.
There are no more wasps. This was a random that happens in areas where there's a lot of. Trust me when I tell you, there are no nests in the vicinity. Ask my fig tree out there. There are no. I have effectively decreased the surplus.
What did I tell you about that? You can't actually do that.
Listen.
And this is when you know Tim is an old man.
Nigga.
Their ass
is real.
Look, their ass. All right. So
sure.
Look, wife has been stung. Daughter's been stung. That's it. We not playing no more with y'all. I will eradicate you.
Right, but this isn't that kind of thing. Like,
listen, a random wasp came in and he closed the window to close the wasp in. But then on top of that, it's one thing if he'd have been on some Rorschach shit.
Now you in here with me.
I'm not locked in here with you. That's not what it was. He was terrified. He was absolutely terrified. He was going to get stung by this motherfucker. So keep the window open so you could possibly shoot a son of a bitch out. I don't know what happened because, my ADHD had me going on to something else. I don't know what happened. I do know when I went to check to see if my spray was back, my spray was back. So I hope he handled his business. I hope the wasp is dead.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he didn't pollute his room to the degree that now we got to get some hazmat motherfuckers to come in there and clean shit out because he.
How low was the spray?
Well, all right. So the spray can is like this. It's like that, and the little nozzle thing looks like those what's those bullhorns. That's how that shit like a bullhorn. So when that shit comes out, right, the spray. Imagine this lined up like that. That's how that shit comes out. So I'm pretty sure his table up there, his computer, his sheets probably ass. Like it's like pretty sure of that. But again, we don't have a wasp problem. So you was gone last week, James. You was gone when I told him that somebody tried me. They literally tried to put a nest right by the back door. Yeah. And I caught her slipping. She hovering around the queen. She hovering around and shit. Motherfucker don't tell me where I'm going to put my nest at. All right. That's what's up. Sounds good. I went and got that spray, caught her in mid-flight. Woo! She on the ground doing this shit. Doing this. I could have stepped on and put out her misery, but because she played with me by trying to put it by the back, I let her sit there. And then I sprayed the nest. It wasn't even a full, it was a little whatever. I sprayed it, stomped on it, split that shit up, took it way to the other end of the yard, tossed that shit over there. Then on my way back in the house, I stepped on her and walked in the house. Stop playing with me.
Terrible too.
Listen, I leave them alone until they don't leave me alone.
They weren't bothering you.
If you put a nest by my back door, essentially, I know how territorial wasps are. Now, the moment she'd have got that shit rocking, right, all of a sudden, none of us are supposed to be coming out the back door anymore.
Yo, that's your assumption.
No, I've seen it happen.
That doesn't mean it's going to happen every time.
I am a veteran at this shit, at these wasp wars around here.
Yo, Paul said she called her ancestors to come fuck with Malik. Facts. The sins of your father. And now you got 9 milli running from wasps. That's how that happened.
Listen, he took care of it. I ain't had to. I got my spray back, and I still got one up there that hasn't been opened yet. I'm good for the summer.
All right.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
Therefore,
the one thing I did do though.
By that assumption, I should not hear any more stories about us for the rest of the year.
Sure. I mean, sure.
Right.
I mean, sure. But one thing I did do, and I don't know if this is paranoia or not, when that tornado shit was happening, hush. So there's stuff in my backyard. I made sure I laid that shit down because listen, we had one around here before. And it took down trees in the neighborhood, and a couple of those trees crashed on the motherfuckers' roofs and shit, right? We already have a tree that fell a couple of weeks ago from all that rain, and it's balanced on another tree that's hanging over the yard. So, I'm thinking all these things when they say tornado, I'm like, we already got a tree down there that's threatening the house and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so tornado season, I've never lived anywhere where I was this paranoid about it, because we've had shit in Baltimore, right? But it ain't been nothing like serious like that to the degree where we see a literal funnel. Right. You know what I'm saying? Coming out the sky and shit. And here, living down here in College Park, you absolutely could see that happen. Like, because one of them going straight up Baltimore Avenue, like, so I get the fuck out. I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Yet another reason.
Yes, but other than, of course, doing a bunch of work on the comic book, trying to get shit set up for the Kickstarter for Christopher's book Singularity and shit. That's pretty much been my whole week, has been writing. And still, look, the other day I go and take a little mini hike, and I have my music in my ear. I got the beat for the song that I'm supposed to be doing with James. I'm playing that, walking. I get to the bridge. I see this sign that says the bridge is closed from the 27th to June 27th, a whole goddamn month. So I couldn't do my regular. I hate when my path gets. I have to change and switch up paths.
It's called neurodivergence.
I don't like that shit. You don't know what it's called.
Oh, okay.
Spell it.
No.
Spell it. I'm tired. No.
I will not spell it for your satisfaction.
But that was pretty much my week.
All right, ladies, which one of y'all? Well, I mean, Gina. I mean,
we heard Gina's week. we heard her week.
Go ahead, babe.
I ain't got nothing.
All right, that's cool. I mean, you can plead the fifth if you want. Some of your shit probably gonna be in mine.
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, honestly, at this point.
All right, you wait for me then. You wait for me.
All right, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Gina. You got anything else that you would like to?
The only last thing is I'll put my link tree in the comments.
Absolutely.
That is connected to everything that I do.
Yes.
And I by Monday morning, I was like, what am I doing? I can make more money than these people.
Facts.
And I was going to drop the whole thing, but people messaged me and said people need to hear our story.
No, absolutely.
And I said I'm going to keep going.
Plus we needed the content.
Well, hold on, wait. I messaged Gina, and I didn't message her. It was a comment. Dang, I don't remember exactly what I said, but I was like, you need to come over here this weekend. And we need to figure out what we about to do about this fucking
that
place.
Was last week,
So what I've been seeing is that's kind of also what this show has become.
Nigga.
I think it would be good. I think you should do this.
Listen,
down the corporation.
Harm being done.
Yeah,
we will be here.
I hear that, Batman.
So,
this guy standing on the rooftop and shit with his dreads. Like the cape and shit.
So if anybody,
this city needs me.
If anybody out there is listening, and y'all got some legitimate shit,
right.
Asian,
that's very important. It got to be legitimate.
Yeah,
you can't just not like your job.
You need receipts, man. Don't hold up. Do not come up here talking about. I really hate my job because my manager feet stink through his shoes, and every time he come walking through the aisle.
Yeah,
well. That's not what we
can do.
Nah, we can't do shit about that.
But as long as it's legitimate, reach out. Again, this was not the intention, but look,
Here we are.
I'm not in there. I have no issue with rolling with the flow.
The crazy thing is, like with the divine thing, we was about to be done.
Yeah.
And then people kept messaging us. Like, please don't stop. Keep doing what you're doing. We need this. Like, this is the most we've ever had. And so here we are.
That's exactly what happened.
Crazy. It's crazy when, like, when a person is quick to tell you to mind your business, but their business is messaging you. Their business is messaging you. Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying?
Like, what are you talking, ma'am? If you could see the inbox,
right?
You have no idea. Anyway,
you done sprung a leak, sis.
Every department.
Every department. It's like, whoa, bro. This therapist, front desk, community outreach, every department.
Right.
And it's like, oh,
yo,
they did what?
Palm said that James is not the hero we need. He's the hero we deserve.
And I love the tagline, your heroes have no power.
No power.
They have no power.
Yeah, no, we don't do that shit. All right, let me get through this goddamn week. All right, so my revelation of the week was I found out what could potentially be the cause of this goddamn static issue. It's stupid.
Why you ain't fix it?
It is fixed.
Oh, okay.
It's stupid. So apparently, it's a buffer size issue. When I'm making beats or when I'm mixing music, I have my buffer size up so that I can use the plugins that I need without overwhelming the FL instance.
I've been here.
As you guys know, I have several music projects coming up, so I'm constantly doing those two things.
Do you?
Shut up. Whenever I record, though, whenever I'm actually recording my voice, I turn the buffer size all the way down to avoid the latency. Lower buffer size seems to allow this particular software that I'm using right now to work better with my mic. The problem, there seems to be no way to change it in this app. There is also no way, there's also a way to change it that's native to Windows.
Yeah.
There should have been a way to change it with the software that came with the interface. Couldn't find it at that time. So troubleshooting would mean closing this program, opening FL, changing the buffer size, closing FL, opening this program, recording myself. Then, if that didn't work, rinse and repeat.
So get started.
Fuck no.
It takes so long. Oh.
I didn't have the time nor the patience to do that shit. So, I still had notes to write for the day. Therefore, before we started, I found the application. I happened to find the application from the manufacturer that lets me change it without opening FL. But I would still currently have to close this application after every change because the program currently requires a restart after changing in the audio settings.
Yep.
So this may or may not be the best it gets. Hopefully it's still fixed. If it happens again, just know that I was probably working on music and forgot to do
the
And also if it happens again, I may or may not be able to fix it until the next show.
Right, so you may have to eat that static.
Yeah, it's just this whole thing. Wedding watch. We got the wedding rehearsal date and time set. Finally. Also,
you looked unsure for a second.
Listen.
The look in your eye.
I don't need no rehearsal for what I'm doing.
Okay.
I'm chilling. It's for everybody else. So
y'all got like a dance recital hat? Like what the fuck? What are you rehearsing?
It's a whole routine. Oh, I didn't tell you your part, too.
Yeah, what's my part?
No, I'm joking.
What's my part?
I'm joking.
Do I have lines?
No. So, also, Chrissy hit our therapist up to get a letter to give.
I thought you was about to say Chrissy hit the lottery. I was like, we good.
Nigga, this would be a different show. We would still be doing it. It'd be a different show. Nigga, facts.
Right.
Most pastors won't marry you unless they know you had some type of couples counseling, and a good portion of them they want to do it themselves. But some will accept if someone else has done it. So
why wouldn't they accept if someone else does it?
I guess I couldn't tell you.
I can answer that.
Okay.
I am also a licensed minister.
Oh my god! And a notary republic and a certified public accountant.
Right.
I got married because I got married. I got my license because I wanted to marry people that churches wouldn't marry.
Right.
Okay.
So the reason that people want to cancel that specific if they marry you and they have not canceled you in past, they cannot guarantee that y'all are supposed to be together. So they're going to stand there in front of God and everyone and marry you when they have no idea if you're supposed to be married.
Right.
So it's more of a
You can't
spiritual
guarantee
thing
that
than
anyway,
anything.
though. How can you guarantee
No, you
that
can't.
anyway?
You can't. You can't. But
This is America.
Oh
Like-
God! Stop it! Stop it!
Most of them are wrong. Trust me.
Yeah, most of them are wrong. Yes, yes.
But if they canceled them themselves, then they
They have
can
a better.
speak.
They
for
feel
themselves.
better about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
All right.
because it's effectively a family pastor, she's fine with accepting.
Okay.
So
All
Chrissy got her to write a letter for us to give.
Hey,
to
wait a
the-
minute. Chrissy is a licensed therapist. How
Yes,
come she
again,
can't
that's
cancel
not how
you?
that works. Shut up. All right. Next up. So for those who haven't heard, I'm writing a book.
It's great.
All right, Gigi. All right, Gigi. All right, Gigi.
Shut up!
Listen.
Shut up! Shut up! I talked about this last week a little bit. I'm done with the first draft of Act 1, and I have started the outlines and shit for. I've did the big outline, but I'm starting the more specific outline for Act 2. The book is going to be 4 acts. I've also started formulating the story for the next book. I did not think I was going to do another book. I've already started formulating the story for the.
It's called neurodivergent.
Yeah, it's called. You're right. You're absolutely right.
And no, I will not spell it.
Both books are fiction, but the second one is actually partially based on a true story. And I've actually told parts of that story on this show. The whole process has been great so far.
Oh, wait a minute.
No, we're not doing this. No,
bro. Your whole experience as a vacation planner, bro.
And there's, nigga, you know what's funny? No, never mind. Shut up. I'm also, so the whole process has been great so far. Certain things that I already knew I struggle with are absolutely kicking my ass. But that's the journey. That's how that shit goes.
That's true.
I'm also in love with the way I'm incorporating the AI into the process. I talked a little bit about it last week, but I think I might have it locked in, and it's the process that I'm going to be using moving forward with the other books. So basically, I get my concept for my story. I throw that in the chat GPT, tell it to assess it for novel viability. So we go back and forth about what genre it fits and any beats that I might need to add. Once that's done, I do the character profiles for my main characters so I understand who they are. Then I start writing my big picture beat outline. After that, I throw it back in. Hey, assess this, format this into the X. Then comes validation. So I'm going to explain this for everybody that doesn't understand how this shit works. It is a step that is necessary every time you get something back from any AI. It's validation.
You have to.
Validation. You absolutely have to.
You have to.
AI is dumb. AI hallucinates. Contrary to popular belief, if you want something good, using AI to achieve it is not the lazy route.
And also, hallucination is part of the architecture. Like
Right.
literally, the reason it can do what it does is supposed to. Yeah, that's what it is.
So it's pretty good at coming up with its own content. But anytime you give it something and expect that back, you absolutely have to check that it didn't make any major changes.
And hold up, he's telling you this because some of y'all obviously don't know it, and y'all think we don't know it, but we read your shit and we go.
Yeah.
Right.
Immediately.
Immediately, Gina. Immediately. So this is especially important for something like writing fiction because of how subtext works. The AI could completely misunderstand your subtext about the smallest thing. Yes. And if you don't catch it, it can steer you completely away from what you were trying to do.
It's a fact.
So after I validate the act outline, I go through and turn the beats into very short chapter summaries, maybe 2 sentences long. I structure all of that so that it's all the acts and the beats within each that will be the chapters. I throw that back into the AI to assess coherence, style, and viability. Again, the next step, validate. I do validation with the results. Then I weigh each suggestion. If it seems like something that is an industry standard, I try to use that suggestion.
Right.
Other things that are just style or more subjective, I scrutinize much, much more because at this point, I have already started writing the story.
Right.
And it's already starting to come together. And even though I gave it the outline, it still doesn't know the story. It doesn't know any of that stuff. You give it to it. It's basically taking pictures of what you give it in very little bite-sized pieces.
And believe me, keep them in bite-sized pieces.
Yeah.
Because if you try to do too much, give it too much too soon,
it's over.
It will that the result is going to be trash and you won't even recognize your story concept anymore.
Right. So once I implement the suggestions that I chose to go with, I do another outline. That outline expands upon the beats that I want to happen in each chapter. Then it goes back to the AI, similar assessment, similar validation. Then I start writing chapter by chapter. After I do my initial pass of any chapter, I throw that into the AI. Analyze this for genre, style, continuity. Continuity check has to match any chapters that are already written and the most detailed outline for that act. Rinse and repeat. Validation. Scrutiny. Then I feed the AI each chapter one by one to see if there's anything meaningful that I can add to it.
And hold on, to be clear, this happens over several threads. Because the AI, particularly if you're using ChatGPT, has a token window of about 200,000,
that part,
give or take. And once you start getting close to that amount of tokens or words, it'll go crazy.
I'm glad you brought that up because there could possibly be somebody who's a little butthurt by the idea of AI and me explaining this process. So the fact that the LLM has a specific context window means that even if I wanted to, I could not give this thing a concept and ask it to spit out a chapter for me.
Right, that's not going.
Because my chapters generally have to be about 2,000 words. The problem, at minimum, 2,000 words. The problem with the AI, they're not going to give you nothing coherent that's 2,000 words long. That's not a thing. It's not a thing. So again, even if I wanted to, I wouldn't have been able to do that.
Also, though, what you're gonna do, what y'all who might be hurt about that gonna do is you're gonna stop playing with actual artists.
Nigga, I've been writing since.
Stop the dumb shit. Stop the dumb shit.
So after,
and also understand that's what you would do.
Well,
because you're a hack. Right? That's what you would do. Fuck out of here. Niggas right over here. Niggas right over here.
Facts. After all the chapters are there, I throw each one back into AI. If there's word count, that's another thing about the word count. AI can't count words.
No, it really can't.
It cannot count words. They use tokens. We used the word tokens a little bit earlier. Tokens are pieces of text. It might be a letter. It might be a part of a word. It might be a whole sentence.
3 words.
Yeah. It we don't know, and it doesn't know individual words. It can't do a word count for you.
No.
Like, so in my Google Doc that I'm writing it in, I use the word count tool to make sure if I highlight the chapter and it tells me that it's only at like 2,000 or something like that, I'm like, all right, cool, I have room to expand this a little bit as far as word count is concerned. So then I'll throw it in and be like, all right, is there anything in this chapter that you feel like I need to expand upon?
Right.
Then if I do that, whatever I agree with, I go ahead and write that. Once the first pass for the whole act is done, I have a prose checklist and I have a polish checklist that I give to the AI. These check specifically things like narrative voice, POV, characterization, plot structure, whatever. Similar validation, similar discernment for the suggestions. I've literally thrown it one of the chapters into the polish checklist, and it came back talking about, all right, you need to split up this long paragraph and this long paragraph. I go to my draft, neither of the paragraphs. This is why validation is important.
Yeah.
You have to check it. It is, you cannot just assume that it's going to give you the right thing. You have
And
to.
this is why some of the accusations of somebody using that to do an entire, bro, good luck.
It's not going to be cohesive. It's not going to be good.
No.
There's certain things. All right. So for instance, it'll tell me this same program will on one hand tell me to correct certain things in speech coming from a character. And on the other hand, in that same chapter, will say, all right, this you need to work on strengthening this character's voice by using things like slang and, excuse me, you literally just told me not to do that.
Yeah.
Now, of course, I'm not going to listen because I know I have to. The creative part is the creative part.
Right.
Like you the person is not using Queen's English the entire time, and that's not within their character. So, of course,
right.
So, I reconcile all of that. I have an X story health check that I get. I run against what I have, similar validation, similar discernment for the suggestions. And we have now reached the destination of the first draft of that act being done. I'm slightly halfway done. I appreciate it. I'm slightly over halfway done with the first. Actually, the first draft is done now. Now it's done. I apologize to anyone who has read any of the chapters before I started because those chapters are different now. Sorry, babe. Sorry.
I was so into it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, it's not the same."
Yeah, because as you write, that stuff changes. Like I get to chapter 6, and I realize I want to do something that I had not originally planned to do, and it's like, all right, now I got to throw in some foreshadowing here, or this.
It's the same. It's the same thing with comic books, bro.
Right.
It's the same thing with comic books. Same shit.
So that, listen, it is what it is. But yeah, I feel sorry for all those people who read anything before this.
I read some stuff
to where
I read some stuff.
That doesn't exist anymore.
But see, he ain't got to apologize to me because I know how this works.
Right. The story that any of y'all that read it like before this week, that story doesn't exist anymore. It just doesn't exist anymore. It's not the same story. I mean, the characters and everything are still the same. I didn't rip the whole thing up, but there are so many things that I changed that.
And sometimes it's the focus of the motivation of the characters might shift because you realize, you know what, this could be better.
Right, I wish I saw it before. I mean, read it before.
Well, all right. So so that's a good point. That kind of. So there's still a couple specific things that I need specifically Gina for. Mm-hmm. But what my original plan and my group of test readers that I was going to use, I don't really need as many as I thought I was going to need because I didn't imagine doing the process this way.
Yeah,
like this wasn't my original intention. I was going to do it much differently. But now that I have a computer that is capable of objectively looking at what I'm doing, knowing what's supposed to happen, knowing what's cliche, knowing what like. I can just feed it to the computer and it tells me like, okay, this works, this may work. Let me tell you why it could, and let me tell you the trap that you might be setting up for yourself. Like, I have all that.
Here's also the reason why a lot of motherfuckers in that space jobs gonna be bye-bye.
Yeah,
because
that's facts.
Like, so I run the editorial department in Majestic Comics.
Mm-hmm.
If I did not have these tools, I would probably have to hire about 3 to 5 people to help with some of this. I don't have to do that now.
Right.
I'll do that now. I'll do it.
It's when used properly.
It's
amazing.
Right.
The act will still be the first draft until I finish the process with the whole book. And then after I finish the first draft of the whole book, then I'll look into formatting and other things that go into that whole situation. Also, because of this and a bunch of other reasons that I'm just not going to go into, I got a new laptop. So
I hate you. I hate your upgrade. I hate your face. I hate your upgrades. I hate all of it. Stop getting new shit.
So
stop getting new shit.
So I'm not
God damn. Ridiculous.
So I got the laptop so that I'm not restrained to having to be sitting right here in order to comfortably write. My old laptop was honestly, if we keep it a buck, my old laptop was honestly never really that good of a laptop. I got. It's just gotten worse over the years. So I now have the shiny newness.
I hate your new stuff.
Officially.
I hate all of your new stuff. I'm tired of you getting new shit. Stop it.
We are officially an HP household.
The fuck? Sorry, Potter.
So Okoye is HP. No, don't ever. Don't ever put me anywhere with a J.K. Rowling in any way, shape, or form. I'm good. Okoye,
don't do that.
HP. No, listen, y'all got hooked before y'all found out. That's fine.
Yeah,
I'm just not joining in now because I know. Yeah, no. Listen, you can't be held responsible for the shit she. No, that's crazy. No.
She is the reason I'm a good writer now. Actually.
Sure.
Unfortunately.
Because the thing is, being a piece of shit does not make you untalented.
For instance, H.P. Lovecraft inspires me a lot, and he was a piece of shit.
Right.
And most of his Eldritch abominations was based on us.
Uh-huh.
Just so you know, right?
Facts. All facts. All facts. So Okoye is HP. Nakia is HP.
I hate all that. How many new shit? How many?
Ramonda is HP.
Not you naming all of them.
No,
Chrissy didn't name hers, but she got an HP laptop.
I'm
surprised.
To name all my stuff.
Yes, she named everything.
So yeah, both laptops, both desktops are HP. So yeah, we're an HP house. Mainly because when I got Okoye, I was so impressed with that computer, and when it was time for me to get a new desktop, I was like, "It's HP. Let me go in and see if I can get the updated version." Sure enough, that worked out. But when I bought this, I opened up an HP credit account.
Oh my goodness!
So since I had that credit account,
yeah, I swear, I hate the fact updates. Stop it.
Well, you don't have to worry about any computer stuff because we set.
Some bullshit.
I got a laptop. Chrissy got a laptop. I got a desktop. Chrissy got a desktop.
I just got new batteries for my camera now.
Oh, okay. Good shit.
And a charger.
Good job. Good job, my guy. But yeah, that's it for me.
You didn't talk about us taking the parents out.
That happened.
Oh yeah.
See, this is why I told you wait for me. All right, go ahead.
Me?
Yeah. It was your idea.
All right. So what had happened was we didn't get to take his mom out for Mother's Day because she had to work. So what?
No, still boo.
What we did was take my parents out, and then we said we were going to schedule a time where we could all four go out. Mm-hmm. So the time was, what was that, last Saturday?
That was last Saturday.
Yeah, last Saturday we took the parents out, went to Texas Roadhouse.
Wait, was it Saturday or Sunday? Because it was a long weekend.
I think it was Saturday.
Okay.
Because Tony had to leave for prom.
Right, and Jana and Mo came over Saturday. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, Sunday. They came over.
We came over Sunday, yeah.
All right, so anyway, we went to Texas Roadhouse, had a great time.
Mm-hmm.
My dad.
I ain't been there in a little while, man.
It's still good.
It's still good. Yeah, it's still good.
My dad.
No, look, and now before she starts, I want to remind y'all, and I've talked to y'all about this man before. I ain't never seen this man do nothing but be helpful, love his wife, and make dad jokes. That's it. I ain't never seen him do nothing else.
Same.
He didn't irritate me.
Right.
I'm used to it now. But my dad is like you said, he always has to make jokes. He is made of dad jokes. Like, it's like they never end.
That's facts.
And
who does that?
That includes servers.
Dads, nigga, you.
Right.
Oh.
Right. That includes servers. So every time we go to a restaurant, I used to hate going to restaurants because we would always pick on the servers. Now the servers see him as this cute old man probably, and they just entertain his shenanigans.
Yep.
So he always gets an unsweetened iced tea, but he always adds sweet and low to it. Specifically, the pink one. So they bring him this iced tea, and they don't have any pink stuff. They have yellow, and that's it, which is Splenda. And he's like, "Do you have any sweet and low?" And she's like, "No." And he's like, "Well, let's go to another restaurant." So then he goes out.
No, this the flex right here.
This has happened before. So now he keeps sweet and low in his trunk.
Hey.
So he goes to the car.
Hey, man.
Stay ready. Stay ready so you ain't gotta get ready.
Brings the sweet and low in, sweetens his tea, and then when the server comes over, he says, "See, you did have it." And she was like, "No, we don't. Where did you get that from?" And she was like, "Wait, do you bring that around with you?" He's like, "Yeah." It's happened before. That was only one of like.
I ain't mad. I'm not mad at him.
I ain't mad at it either. I ain't mad at it. Why you could either set yourself up for disappointment and then complain, or you could be proactive
and set yourself up to be satisfied every time.
Absolutely.
So what happened was there was a time they went to a restaurant, they didn't have it, so he left the restaurant, told my mom I'll be right back, and went to the store and got some. And so now, so he doesn't have to do that, he just keeps it in his car.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen,
that part.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is my dad.
Hey.
He's great.
Awesome. He's the best.
I mean,
what?
Come on. Surely if Magava gets credit.
Nigga.
I'm just
that
saying.
part.
Yeah, like
that part.
So anything else really happened? I mean, just a lot of laughs and we had a great time. My dad kept making jokes. Oh, Texas Roadhouse used to give out peanuts, but now they don't like just give them out because people in their allergies and it causes a mess on the floor. So you have to ask for them. And so there was the bucket at our table with no peanuts, and he's like, "Can we have peanuts?" I'm like, "For what? We about to have a whole meal." So she gave him like 2 bags. He took a bag home. I'm like, "You don't need this.
You don't know that."
That part. That part. What if peanuts are his actual life force?
Right? You don't know that.
I'm willing to say anything's possible in defense of this man.
You don't know that.
What do you mean? How you know he didn't need it? How you know his power bar, his HP wasn't low?
Facts.
Matter of fact, no, it would be his MP. His MP. How you know his MP wasn't low?
Anyway, we had a great time, so much so that now they have requested for us all to go out
every month. Once a month. That's difficult.
Oh, yeah,
I need to hold you.
That's too much.
It's not.
Gina. Here's the reason why. No, here's the reason why it's difficult, right? I've said on this show so many times. When you combine your life with someone who has 75 people who at any given time they might want to spend time with, but they also want you there, that means you are now always busy. So already, matter of fact, let's talk about the responsibilities. First, the responsibilities are the God kids.
Yeah.
Then the friends. Yeah. Now, on top of that, we have to carve out a time every single month. Oh, and little known thing, we happen to be getting married in a few months.
And I thought you were going to talk about the scheduling.
That's what I'm talking about.
No, because of your mom.
Like, nigga, that's another thing. My mother doesn't work normal, predictable schedule for work. And music, and book. And podcasts.
I would just like to take this time to publicly thank my wife for being a lot like me in the sense of we have very loving friends, but we don't need to see them all the time.
You can bring somebody to stay in the house, yes.
Oh, nigga.
Here's the thing. The crazy part is I did not expect James to like conform to.
We
my
are.
life
I didn't either.
at all.
We are
I didn't
one.
But
I didn't either.
I didn't expect it. Like
This
I
is a
knew we
new.
were going to be together.
This is one of the most uncooperative motherfuckers I have ever
We
met
are
in my
one.
life.
Oh, trust
And
me,
he's
too. He's still uncooperative.
We are one. I don't understand
No, but like even when we got together, I was like, babe, I know you're not a people person
at all.
Like,
Still not.
It's fine.
hates
And
people.
now he'd be like, Gina and Mo coming over. When they coming over?
Yeah, but
I
see,
want
you
to
know-
hear
Now hold on. Whoa.
It's a
That's not a
caveat.
thing.
It's a caveat though. The caveat is like while we don't like people, there are circles of people that we
That part.
that's
And
that's
that
the
is
issue.
not a thing. She has a way of
I
exaggerating.
exaggerated how you said it.
Nigga, I listen. I love all of my people dearly. There is never a scenario
I believe you,
where I'm
Chrissy.
okay, you know better. there's never a scenario where I'm like, oh, I haven't seen this person. I need to see this.
No, it doesn't happen.
I'm gonna check it out, Ryan. I'm gonna check it out.
It's more like how I do it. But there have been times when you've asked for a hangout and I've been very surprised.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what I'm saying is, I'm shocked still. And now it's gotten to the point where it's like, oh, he actually has.
See, Triplet gets it. She says she loves HP.
She has a relationship. I mean, he has a relationship with my friends. Like
Yeah.
his own separate relationship.
Facts. We don't need
Yeah, I don't
you.
be doing that.
That's cool.
We don't need you.
I don't be doing that. Don't get twisted. Like all the people that send my wife, whatever, we but I don't. Nah. I love y'all because I love her.
You worse.
Y'all cool.
I told you.
No, I know he worse.
I love her because I
This
love
nigga.
y'all because I love her. Like
I've known two now at least 2019, 2018.
and I love you, Chrissy.
I would say
I love you.
just started messaging him privately.
Right.
Right.
right. It takes some time. It takes
Hey,
some time.
but you got
It
there.
takes some time.
That's what matters.
That's what matters.
You got there. Everything's fine.
And I troll Chrissy.
Yeah,
You know, I only troll my friends.
that's facts.
People I like. I don't
That's
troll.
facts. That's 100%. Because ain't nothing that funny, motherfucker. But
Nah,
if
nah.
we know you,
it's funny.
everything. Everything's funny.
Everything's funny. Yeah.
Yeah. I think. Let me see. Is that everything? I think so. Yeah, I think that's everything from the week.
We want to thank all
I
of
mean,
you.
we don't often have 4 people.
We really don't. But we still want to thank all of you for joining us for another rousing edition of the Black
Sam,
Culture
see-
Geeks
Sam,
podcast.
see the-
I hate you. Stop getting shit.
Well, no, I had to get it for the laptop. It's the cool
No,
thing.
it's still new shit, right?
I mean,
it's
yeah,
connected to that.
like it
So
literally
no,
came
I don't
today
like
while
that.
we were
Stop
while we
doing.
were recording.
Why are you updating stuff?
Because
Stop getting new shit.
Can he say bye without you showing stuff?
What's wrong with him?
also got this because it's a touchscreen.
What is it?
It's a touchscreen. It turns into a tablet. So
Sound like none of that.
Like none of that.
that's not true.
Look at
It's
me.
not
I'm
true.
so jealous.
Yo,
though.
the fuck? No, yo, I'm not. See, this is. I don't like it. No, yo. You got a new computer, new little penny thing right there, a fan. I'm living in a fucking house.
That's not true.
My husband bought me this.
Hey.
No, listen. See, y'all got to stop. It's what the fuck?
Hey.
We in a recession.
You call it what you want, nigga.
This ain't no recession. They try to tell y'all that so y'all won't spend money. So y'all can feel crazy. Everybody got the same amount of money that they used to have.
Facts.
Not you either.
The hell?
He
Stop
might
getting
just
shit.
Bye and hang up.
First, before I get out of here, because I'm really annoyed right now. Before I get out of here, right?
What is that
First,
about?
we got to promote Heard It Through the Grapevine podcast. Go check them out. It's funny. They nasty on some. I'm too young for that shit they be saying on some of the other ones. I don't really that shit. Nah, but it's funny as fuck, informative. Go check it out. We tell y'all every week, but now you got them on the show. You already got it. Come on, like go check that shit out.
We're very funny.
Very funny.
That's fact.
Don't forget to check out Metas and Mutants with our guy Super Side Guy and Hendrick. Who else? Oh yeah, Majestic Comics. go get a book, digital, whatever. Check that shit out as well. James writing books. There's always fucking music.
Always
There's
music.
old music from the past. There's current music, and there will be future music.
Mhm.
So always go and check that out as well. Graydon always has something going on. Go check out his live stream. He does office hours every day. Go check it out. Basically, any and everybody that we're affiliated with, give them money.
Yes, that part.
yeah, give them money.
Present company especially.
In facts.
Because I don't know if you know.
Facts.
So for my man SPJ,
You,
my sister Chrissy, my sister Gina, I am Tombstone the Dead Man, and for the greater multi-world entertainment family, we are out. Stop by.